Well, hello, and welcome. It is Thursday, which of course means it is time for some Overwatch here at NECC. My name is Jeff, here with my bestie, the chef with the most, the chef with the best. It is Chef Billy, the head cook, the only one who can properly cook in Overwatch. This man's cooking. Billy, how's your week been, my friend?
Busy as hell. Also tornadoes. Tornadoes on the first. Scary business here in the heartland. But you know what? It sets us all up for some playoffs tonight. It is semifinal action coming here to us tonight. And, well, I mean, this is almost at the end of the season already. I can't believe we're already here.
I know, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I want more. There might be more coming up down the line. Who knows? There might be a little something going down the line. We don't know yet. But let's take a look at our schedule for the day. And we're going to start out with Carlton Ravens Red going up against the SNHU Pearl team. Have not had a chance to see this SNHU team. I have had a chance to take a look at the Carlton Ravens. I believe it was last semester. Remember how well they could play. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup to me, Jeff.
Indeed. Time certainly flies when you're having fun, and we've had a lot of fun this semester. And it all culminates here in this playoffs. Carlton versus SNHU, our first match. We will be taking a trip over to Champions a little bit later on as Oklahoma University will take on Washington U. But first things first here in Challengers. Yeah, I mean, Carlton are coming into this 7-0. Let's take a look at the bracket as we'll see how we got into this semifinals matchup. Southern New Hampshire coming in with a 5-2 record off of their quarterfinals win over Anna Maria.
Yeah, and I'm taking a look at what Carlton Ravens did. Okay, and being a former service member, I kind of take exception that they took the Army at West Point out just because, you know, they're a service academy. So I got to have a little bit of love, even though it is the Army. Don't let my husband hear me say that because he'll beat me up. But, I mean, still, this SNHU team, I'm really interested to see what they got cooking right here because that's a pretty emphatic run here to get into the semifinal. Same thing with Carlton's Ravens Red.
I mean, Carlton particularly, right? They've only dropped one map in the entirety of the season. That was way back in week 2. So that it's been a while since Carlton has even dropped one individual map. And I mean, they've got a whole head of steam here. Certainly got to be your favorites on paper, just based on the back of that. As such, let's take a look at their roster and see who they'll be fielding today.
Yeah, we're going to start out with BZ. Cool Ranch, that's a great name for a chef. I love hearing that. Audrey Wynn, I Blue Boss, and SCA Lover. I'm kind of vibing with that one. Who doesn't love SCA as an artist? So, I mean, this is fantastic work for me, and I'm interested to see how this team is going to go up against the Southern New Hampshire University Pearl Squad.
I interpreted that as Zaw Lover, as in somebody who just likes pizza. Like that is exactly how I interpreted that name. I just wanted to throw that out there before we look at New Hampshire's roster.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna have to give you pop culture lessons when I
probably yeah, no doubt.
We'll take a look at SNHU now.
What can I say?
Their lineup: Fimes, Crib Run, Dino Tank, Dwums,
and
one trick, Dwums.
As a long time Dwummer.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of that name as well. Goes back to the metalhead thing I was just talking about, right? But honestly, I mean, SNHU, coming in 5-2. I mean, they're also back with a 3-0 win, and I mean, we'll see if that momentum can hold here. Everything is going to be focused around the tank. I mean, that's any fans of this stream will know that is where my eyes are immediately drawn, particularly when we have a couple of squads that we haven't seen as often on stream. I think eyes got to initiate with the tank. Battles will start with the tank. So I think that's where our focus has got to be right out of the gate.
Oh, yeah. It's all going to be map dependence as well. So, there's a lot of Ramatra being run right now. There's a lot of Donkey Horse being run right now, the Orisa. For those of you that don't know my moniker for my favorite hero in the entire game, because I love Orisa with all my heart.
But we need a Chef Orisa skin. I want an Orisa skin with a Chef hat.
It's true. You know what? We're going to play Overwatch after we get done with this cast. But it's all good. All the action is going to start out on Ilios. So that brings a couple of things to mind. Are they feeling daring? Do they want to come out and run with a dive? I've seen a lot of Winston being played, especially on on Lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
If they're feeling froggy, Ruins I think on the Orisa or the Ramattra there. But what the RNG gives us here, as far as our first opening Ilios, one of my favorite maps in the entire game. I've always loved Ilios. I think it's a fun map. I've always liked the Pit of Hell. Being a Diva player back in the day, being an Orisa player back in the day, using Halt to pull people in the Halt. Hashtag bring back Halt.
Whoa, let's not get too carried away now. Let's not get too carried away.
That's my take, sir. I want it back.
I mean, if you're playing the April Fool's patch, they gave Halt to Sojourn right now, if you're playing on the April Fool's patch, so there is that, as Disruptor Shot now acts as a Halt. But anyway, we digress. We'll be seeing none of that silliness. Playing Ilios alone, I think, is silliness enough, so... I mean, it's one of the reasons we don't see this map a whole lot. It's kind of meta-breaking with how unusual the individual submaps are designed, Billy.
Exactly. And I think that, to bring a kind of like a Swiss Army knife tank into this, you'd run the Sigma. Sigma plays well across all 3 submaps. You can take space. You can play more defensively if that's your du jour that you want to go with. So you really got to be. It really is. You really do have to go with the tank. The tank needs to be where you're kind of leading the charge, the tip of the to say, or the end of to try and pry apart teams, especially with Sigma. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's not just the tip of the engagement, but it also decides how you want to engage as well, right? What your tank chooses completely dictates how you take fights.
Correct. And that means I have always historically shared when it comes to stuff like this. It really does. It depends if you want to play more brawly. If you're wanting to get up in the face, you run with the Sojourn or you run with the Mei. If you're kind of wanting to do a little bit kind of hybrid poke and rush, then you absolutely have to have the Sojourn in there with a Tracer. I've been favoring Genji here a little bit lately because of the ability to get in there, get a deflect, start getting dash resets. I casted some esports U last night, and there was a Genji player that absolutely turned Royale into a playground, and I was very impressed with it. And I could see where they were going with it. They were waiting for engagement with their Sigma, and they would get into the back line and kind of turn heads. It may be just because it was Circuit Royale, maybe just because they were running the Monaco 5 there, the BAP and the Zen in the back there, trying to get the Zen completely knocked out. And I
don't know. I can see that working really well here on Ilios.
Right?
You send the Genji, if you're on Weld, you can play around the back high ground and really kind of live in your opponent's back line. If you're playing on Lighthouse, the Genji has access to that high ground, where we often see like a Sojourn or an Ana likes to sit up there on Lighthouse where they can have good open sightlines across the map. Genji has easy access to that, put a lot of pressure up there, where someone like a hero like Tracer has a lot more difficult time accessing that high ground. So I can see Genji being very useful here. Looks like we finally got our 10th player in the lobby. We had a bit of a hiccup as far as disconnect or something happened here, so we appreciate your patience, but we're about ready to get into this thing.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's more time for us to talk about Overwatch and theory crafting, something you and I love to do. I mean, yeah,
we can certainly do it for hours. I don't know. We probably lose our audience at that point. Well, we can talk for hours about Overwatch.
It's so true.
Hey,
and you know what? Good.
I was just going to say the fact that we had to kind of restart our map, it changed our starting submap here. A small thing, but one of our teams, might be a lot happier to see Well than they were to see Lighthouse.
Indeed. This is kind of interesting. If this stays the way it does, we're looking at an aerial kind of going on here. I don't hate it. SNHU going a little bit more traditional.
I'm curious to see how Southern New Hampshire would set up with this comp. Where do you put Dino Tank, Grim Run, and 5s to have a safe place to set up a dive before you're able to initiate? I think they'll be looking for Beadsy. It's got to be your target if you're Southern New Hampshire. Don't allow Beadsy on this Ash to get early value and find an early pick. Ball's going in and overextends right out of the gate. Adri 1 win finds themselves the first casualty here in this matchup.
Yeah, and that's what I was actually looking at was Carlton's the kind of the aerial dive because they were kind of showing us the Pharah there for a second. I wouldn't hate that necessarily because you get disruption with concussion blast, and then you've got the pile drive going in the back. So now look at this. BZ has already forsaken the Ashe and is over to the Cassidy. So grenades are going to be high importance here for Carlton. They got punched in the mouth in this first engagement.
It was a good meta choice here from Southern New Hampshire to come out with the dive. They did find an important target in the Wrecking Ball, of all things. Forcing that swap. BZ in the thick of things. Fives takes him down. We do have a trade for SNH to use Lucio, but everybody's so high mobility, they're not relying on that speed to engage or disengage. Therefore, DinoTank stays thick in this fight. Fives is low, has to translocate out, picks up some health. Meanwhile, Crimrun's able to find one. DinoTank goes back into the engagement, forces out a fade. Now attention turned on to the Genji, who has 1 health. Oh, DinoTank takes him down with the alt fire.
Oh, you love it. You were telling me that I had to bind my alt fire because I didn't have it bound to Winston's new kit.
So important.
Best thing that ever happened to me. Best thing that DinoTank have had. Now they've got Pulse Bomb and the oh my goodness. And the
almost got 2 with that. I believe
Yes.
Ross managed to fade at the last moment. Still, the Coalescence will not be enough to turn this around. Carlton Ravers did manage to find the objective through all of this. So they're building percentage through a losing fight. Not all bad. This could be 65-0 right now otherwise.
I'm not sure how they got that, how they got the flip, but hey, I mean, it's great for them. By the way, Genji there died to a hack. So if you didn't see the feed there,
is that what they were talking about in chat? I missed that.
Yeah, that's what they were
Good
talking
catch.
about in chat. You've got a support, you've got a sound barrier as well. So I mean, you've got lots to it here.
Oh, Fives goes down just as the EMP comes online for reals. The DinoTank is able to fight too, including the Moira in the back. So stay notably lacking here. Soliver is on the Mercy now to try to support this pharmacy, but it seems like SNHU are content to just take down everybody else. They do lose 1, but DinoTank takes to the skies to just buzz down Zoliver with that taser, the Tesla cannon. Saw a Farah decides to go for the ground targets instead, keep them in bay. Farah is low in the back. Cool Ranch is deep in enemy territory, and One Trick is going to find that kill. Adrian Wynn moving in to try to support them, but low on health, and the Primal's been popped from DinoTank. SNHU are not going anywhere.
Nope, it should be getting us into final fight territory here. Crimrun over to the Echo. I like this to kind of deal with the Pharah in the sky, better mobility. Better kit to do with these aerial duels, so they're also going to be able to focus down this Mercy a lot easier.
Ooh, Mercy's low, Mercy's down. The focus and beam following the stickies. We got Adrian Wynn. I don't think I've seen a minefield yet. Now the EP is out. That is one poor hamster forced to just crab walk around and wait for their inevitable trip right back to spawn. It is your 5-2 underdog. Southern New Hampshire will grab our first sub-map.
Oh, I mean, let's talk for a minute about what we just saw there. You know, we were talking about if they were feeling spicy to bring out the Winston. Works to perfection. DinoTank must be absolutely over the moon being able to play Mounchie here. And I mean, getting so much done there. There's a sniper shot. And that's a beautiful stick from Crimrun. I mean, great fade from Blue Box getting out, but still. I mean, this is focus fire 101. SNHU are absolutely owning it.
I mean, they won every team fight. Carlton just managed to sneak the point out from underneath them during a losing fight. Otherwise, that would have been a clean 100-0. Southern New Hampshire never lost an engagement. Adrian Wynn was the first to die there on Well as we move to Ruins. Looking for the Wrecking Ball to have a little bit better time, especially since they're not going up against a Sombra. It should be a little bit easier here for Adrian Wynn.
I would expect a change if they get taken out early in this early mid-fight for the point. I think that you see them switch off of this, go back to a Sombra look. Or, you know, maybe something a little bit more punch-heavy. We'll see if they can actually turn that around. The big thing for me, though, is BZ is on this Reaper. That's going to be a lot of chunk down here onto the Arista. They're going to have to really keep DinoTank up.
So far, SNHU have done a good job of it. It was good cover from Five, sitting on the high ground, kind of denying the speed rush in from Carlton. Lucio has just been escorting the Reaper around. Adrian Wynn finds first blood, doubles down on that as a matter of fact. Carlton have control, and now a 5v3 in this fight. They're hunting down the Orisa. Dino Tank barely survives that. Still, the pursuit is in chase. Oh, they finally give up on it.
But I mean, there's a lot of bullet percentage that was gained there from SNHU. I don't know if the Sojourns deal with a Reaper unless they, find the range with the charged rail shot. Also, they need to be looking for Blue Boss, wait for the fade and see if they can capitalize on the back of it.
Spirit land onto the Reaper initially. Cool Ranch goes down just as that pulse pump comes online. Unfortunate turn. Grimrun needs to pop that duplicate. Doesn't. Oh no. Speaking of mistakes, one good mistake deserves another. It's a 4v4 on this point. Dino Tank with the Orisa finds the more on the back, and sustain is now lacking here for Carlton. Sound barrier used from SNHU just to further pursue the advantage they had. Mines out from the other side, but that Mines needs to kill everyone if it's going to find the value. Oh, unless Cool Ranch is able to pull this back. That's 2 under their belt, and the rest of SNHU has to dance around these mines. Adrian Wynn is going to find one trick. Grimrun goes into the U to hunt down Coal Ranch. Adrian Wynn just gets speared off from finding Grimrun. They're able to pop their duplicate just in the nick of time. Terror Surge on the point, gets nothing. Adrian Wynn pile drives in onto the Orisa, rolls back, and now BT is here in return. That's going to force Dino Tank back off the point. They use their Javelin Spin to do so. Nothing to protect against the Death Blossom. It's a good boop to keep BT at range. Grimrun will find that final blow. Carlton Ravens are close to their 100 point needed, but SNHU with a kill onto BT have the advantage, but they lose Clubs. That is not good. Now Sawslover gets 2 with this Sound Bearer, moving back in, trying to hunt down Dino Tank. Decides to run past the tank, hunts down Grimrun instead. Fives on the outside, still has an overclock. Something's got to be done from SNHU if they're going to pull this back.
I mean, there's no way to sort of like, well, when I say that, Fives is starting to light it up here, and they're looking for double kill. There it is.
Oh, but Adrian Wynn's going to find them in the back. Now, it looks like we have a lot more red jerseys here on this point. You still have BT. Nope, never mind. You still have Sawlover left here on the Lucio holding down the fort. Adrian Wynn has returned with yet another set of mines, Billy.
I mean, this is absolutely crucial for them to try and turn this around. They find the Mega, but they don't find the touch. Oh, no. Spaghetti on the floor. That is, in fact, a Charlie Niner.
I'm going to stop you right there. I don't. No.
Yeah,
they were dancing with the Echo and the Lucio, trying to just toe that line because the Echo had no health, had to get out of there. Otherwise, the Echo was just going to die on point. It was not just neglected the objective. I'm going to stop you there. I don't feel that was a Charlie Niner. I think that was just good play from Carlton to hold down that one.
Meh. We'll agree to disagree on that because I think that you stay touching the point until the rest of the cavalry arrive, and deal with what. But
then you're just dead, and the time just runs out anyway, right?
Yeah.
So
at least you're on the point. Just how I feel.
I think going back over to the Winston here, headed into this third sub map.
Go back to the Sombra.
I'll drive in. Yeah, everyone's sticking with the Echo here. I mean, there's no far on the other side, and that was what made Crimson make the swap in the first place. They just had a little extra high ground to work with here. Nice little engagement here from Adrian Wynn in the start. Getting some good ult charge, putting a lot of pressure down. A lot of Coal Range coming in to find that final blow on the Fives. First blood going over to Carlton Ravens.
Yep, I think that the Sombra look was much better from them. They're gonna give up first capture percentage here to Carlton here. And I mean, Cribble, halfway to a duplicate already. Yeah, that's good. But I mean, you've got to get the focus down. You've got to go back to what 1.1 or submap 1, and that's the ability to focus fire down.
And I think they're looking for the Moira here. The Moira had fade in that last engagement. And unfortunately, Dino Tank is just forced to the outside too much. That was a nice move. It hit Dino Tank right as they hit the jump. That could have sent them off the side.
Pulse bomb early here for Carlton Ravens. Also, these coalescence up there. There's so much work being done here by Ibu Gloss. Like I said, it's just a compositional difference right now. They've gone away from what was really working on well, and now they're trying to focus out targets where they don't have the ability to kind of disrupt and stop the disengage.
Surrender to my will.
Gonna be a coalescence from Ibu Gloss just to make life even more difficult here for SNHU. Age gets 2 off the side. Both supports find themselves taking a swim. It's not spring break, y'all. We're back from that. We're supposed to be done swimming. It's time to get back to work, SNHU.
I mean, the duplicate was onto the tracer, so you had 2 tracers on the field. You got 1 pulse bomb out, nothing doing with that. And Crimrun got up to their pulse bomb, well, missed with that as well. So this is where you need to switch here. You're at 70%. You have time, but I mean, you're just going to stick with it.
We have 2 support ults to work with, so SNHU try to make the most out of that, but Dwubs is in a lot of trouble. Doesn't even get the sound barrier off. Finds himself isolated, trying to do too much. And now it is a 2-player advantage being pursued here by Adri1Win and the rest of Carlton. They're going to find that exit pick on a 1-trick as well.
And yeah, and then they also stopped the Kitsune Rush from coming out. So they're going to have to get a touch. There's a Primal onto the point.
At least the sound barrier is there. It's onto a Primaling Dino tank. Helps him out a little bit, and still they're going to fall in the end. Overwhelming pressure. All eyes were pointed at the monkey. And that is just a poor Winston experience. Nothing but squishies left here. A desperate attempt from SNHU to try to keep this first map going. Carlton Ravens are doing a great job of isolating targets, of focus and fire one by one. Carlton deal with the threats. They stand tall, hold on here through Ilios after dropping the first sub-map. They turn around and go up 1-0 in the series.
Oh, yes, they do. And I mean, that was pretty emphatic for both. I mean, it was 100-0 for both, if my memory serves. So, I mean, once they went away from the Sombra composition, really SNHU, they didn't have a foot in the race. The focus fire is too good. The backtracking from Adri won just so good. And, well, we'll see how we got to this 2-1 result here in the 1-0 lead here for Carlton here in our semifinal.
And notice the big difference as we're swapping through. On Carlton's side, Carlton makes some good adjustments in their DPS role. And I think that's why SNHU felt like they weren't able to go back to the Sombra. They felt like they had to stick with the Echo to try to help counter the Tracer and the Reaper from the other side, try to play some distance away from it. Maybe felt like they wouldn't get the value they would out of the Sombra. But, I mean, it was good adjustments, and they worked well for Carlton. We always talk about, Billy, the hallmark of a championship team is how do they adjust? What happens after Plan A fails?
I mean, it was absolutely massive there. I mean, there was times where I thought they would be able to turn a fight around, especially there on Well or on Ruins. But yeah, you when it doesn't work, you know, a couple of attempts going in, that's where you have to go back to the cupboard and figure out something else that might work. I think Dino Tank played the 2 correct tanks across the 3 maps. Maybe a Sigma would have worked a little bit better there on Lighthouse, but I think that, I mean, the CC with the accretion, you know, the kinetic grasp, being able to eat up pulse bombs, being able to eat up orbs, being able to eat up Death Blossom, the shield would have been, and the fact that they were not able to, after they went off the Sombra, they were not able to deal with Adri-Win. That's the big problem. That's the major problem, is that the disruption was there and there's nothing to counter it.
Yeah, that I was trying to think in my head, like, what seemed to be the big issue, because it didn't feel like the Reaper was giving Southern New Hampshire a whole lot of problems, right? It didn't feel like even the Tracer was really giving. I mean, the Tracer from Cool Ranch, I mean, it was able to find some final blows and kind of get in the backline a little bit, but it didn't feel like that was what was causing the defense to fall or causing the backline of Southern New Hampshire to crumble. It really was Adri-1Win on that wrecking ball that was doing the bulk of the work.
And I also think that iBlue Boss, getting Coalescence so early, pumping the heals in, doing that magical blend of damage and healing to, you know, build up Coalescence that fast. I mean, they were saving Orb just for healing. I did not see very many purple orbs come out from Carlton. I saw a lot of yellow come out. I saw a lot of yellow spray too. So, I mean, you know, is this actually, you know, one of those magical healing Moiras? It could be, especially with how fast that they got the Coalescences up. So
I've only read about these fabled healing Moras. I thought those were just a thing of myth, Billy.
They are, but apparently we found one. Also, I've got a pot of gold at the end of my rainbow. If you want to see it later on, we do have our map pick for our next map, and well, we're going to be heading to somewhere that I've been in real life. We're headed to Monte Carlo or Monaco and Circuit Royale. Well, we might get a chance to see Sigma after all, Jeff.
I mean, if, you know, precedent isn't anything, then absolutely. This is probably Sigma's best map if you're just looking at that in a vacuum. Unfortunately, Overwatch is far more complicated than that. So we have to take things like meta and who the opponents are into consideration. But traditionally, yeah, this is definitely Sigma's best map.
Oh, and maybe we'll get a chance to see some snipers too. I would love to see that. But you know what? I'm going to refer back to what I saw yesterday. This is where Genji came out and was able to use not only the mobility of Genji, but also the wall climb to escape danger and pull fire away or resources, depending on if it's a support or not. And just being that nuisance factor, just like Tracer is. I think Genji and Tracer, to me, live in a separate subset of the DPS role, is what I call the mosquitoes.
They're flankers. I mean, yeah, you definitely have flanker heroes.
Yeah, and I think that these two definitely embody that.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, and I mean, Sombra falls into that category as well. Depending on the playstyle, you do get a little bit of Sombra 76, kind of depending on playstyle. So those flanker characters, I mean, Genji tends to be a little bit more forward, back, and vertical, where Tracer can just live in a backline, like doesn't need LOS really from their own team at all. I think Genji needs a little bit more support from their own team, but there's a lot of high ground here. So this is definitely a good place for Genji to work if you're trying to, especially going up the chicane, going and trying to attack point B. I think we could definitely see a Genji work here.
Oh, yeah.
Sigma's right out of the gate, though, so at least we got that one right.
I mean, we've almost got the standard coming out from SNHU. They have time. BZ showing us the Ashe again. Did not find a lot of value last time with that, but I think with a different composition here, I think we're going to have a different result.
Absolutely.
Blue Boss seems to be a power healer, so bringing the Baptiste here for them, absolutely right call. I love that. We'll see how good Cool Ranch's aim is, because play the difference between Tracer and Hanzo, two completely different skill sets
in every possible way. BZ, I'm keeping a sharp eye on BZ. BZ came out on an Ashe originally. That tells me that BZ is very confident on this hero. Only swapped because they were playing against Dive, and Ashe is very vulnerable to Dive, but don't have to worry about that here. BG could be a difference maker and want to take it down. SNHU want to make their way down this point A street.
Well, all we need to do is see some heads being hit here. I mean, that'll prove the instant value of the Widowmaker.
Looking for it. Trying to play around that shield. Carlton was doing a good job of knowing exactly where their shield placement was and who needed it. Very smart play by Idri, one win. Slowly but surely, SNHU are creeping up the street. They've managed to get the cart to this corner, and it does look like Carlton... Oh, they're deciding. They're trying to decide, do they want to back up? Yeah, they finally make the decision to go ahead and fall back to the next corner. Carlton gained some space and gained this bridge.
And it's on the back of Crimrun right now, landing some shots with the sniper rifle, but Fives needs to be the one that can kind of open this up.
Blums did good to avoid disaster there. Losing your back would have been bad. Losing Fives is not good either. Cool Ranch with back-to-back kills. Finally cracking open Circuit Royale. And defense not going anywhere. They regained all the map.
Yep, and I mean, this is going to be just another slow war of attrition again, Jeff. We need to see Fives or Crimrun get something out there, or Dino Tank to kind of, you know, put the gas pedal down a little bit and try and see if you can displace Adrian once again. I mean, they're going to be running into a window here. This is going to be easy holding here, especially with how Cool Ranch has been hitting shots.
New Hampshire need to be very careful. They're able to take the space away really good, but now here comes that amplification matrix. Well, SNHU Pearl are just kind of clumped up on this corner. They scramble back into the room. Adrian Woman gave pursuit, but didn't like what they saw in there. You see, he used that kinetic grass to escape. Got a lot of shields to work with, but is playing conservative on this corner. Doesn't want to give any free picks over to Southern New Hampshire just yet. Give me a kinetic grass to start things off. Stunned out of it. Will not get the slam down. And one trick falls before being able to pull out this Transcendence. Carlton are in the driver's seat.
I guess the saving grace here is that they did get the Bob out. So there is some good that's come of this.
BT missed that dynamite. Fives is thinking they're lucky stars on that one. They were hiding in a corner with no health. Ate that one, but that's just a little extra ult percentage. Dragons are going to get thrown out here immediately. Try to split SNHU in half. We'll get the immortality filled out as well. Tech needs to be careful as they were divided from the rest of the team, able to fall back as soon as those dragons fade. And now it's Andrew one way, and with a kinetic grasp being launched, and Fives is caught in it. Transcendence there from One Trick. Everybody getting topped up, and even with a Discord on him, Fives is able to back up and safely return fire here with this overclock. Has Cool Ranch caught on the outside. That's 2 quick picks here for SNHU, and they finally get some ground here on Circuit Royale.
Oh, man, it took a lot. It took a lot, but I mean, persistence plays off with 45 seconds left on the clock here. They're going to get a chance to get around this chicane, but it's all about taking space right now. They cannot wait.
Oh, the Transcendence is late. They wanted to keep Adrian Win alive with that. It was a big commitment. That was a big gamble. It does not pay off for Carlton.
Not only does it
this
not
could be
pay
real
off,
bad, Billy.
This is going to be really bad. Not only does it not pay off, this is going to be horrible. Crimron's going to have another Infrasight ready to go coming into this next fight. There's Cool Ranch going over to the Genji, and Beezy's bringing out their own Widowmaker.
Yeah, that is a point-winning kill right there. If you don't kill Dwums, then SNHU has a chance to hold you into Hotel and completely stuff Carlton into spawn. But that one pick just opens up this map here for the defense. Not to mention that pretty little pick on a Crim Run as well. Nicely done. Clean it as you like. Ant Matrix now up. SNHU are trying to fight this, but they're not investing. They're just seeing if they can get an exit pick or a trade. Not happening.
Yep, I mean, that's how it runs. And, well, now they're going to have a Genji to worry about. And that means deflect. That means dash resets if a kill comes through. Yeah, this is starting to turn a little bit bad for them. And, well, that pick on the tank, while bad, is not necessarily the end of the world because Genji will get back nice and fast. I like the fact that they have switched over to this Brigitte to deal with that Genji coming in on their back line.
That's exactly the answer from One Trick against Cool Ranch. There we go. Andrew 1 win back in this fight. I mean, before SNHU can even really make it up the hill. Look at that. Mines are now out over the objective. It's going to force the supports to scramble backwards. Dino-Tech can pop the Gravitic Flux through this, but because of those mines, SNHU are not able to follow up on that. They're not able to get any of the final blows on the back, and now BT has line of sight down this long haul. Already found one. Can they get Fives as well? Fives is super close to an overclock. Cannot afford to die. A lot of pressure onto the back line. Crimrun forced out of the little hidey hole and then popped by Beadsy. Fives holds on to the overclock. 70 seconds left.
I mean, this is a stalling 101 coming from Carlton. The Blade is going to be the big kicker here as we are under 1 minute now. I mean, you've got Immortality Barrier. That's about it. You've got one Shield Bash and a Flail to keep the Genji at bay. Fives needs to step up big time, and Crimrun needs to watch their lines of sight because Beadsy has a beat on them.
This could be the most important whip flail of One Trick's career. You can boop Cool Ranch away and not allow them to get a dash reset. You can completely shut down the Blade. One dash reset and Cool Ranch could just end this map. 96, looking to get the finals with that ultimate, but took a lot of damage. That didn't quite go as Cool Ranch wanted, but the rally is already out here from One Trick. SNHU are trying to push forth on the back of that, and Fives runs right into a bullet from BC. Now Cool Ranch has the Blade online, dashes in, pulls out the katana. You got One Trick backing up, cannot get the whip flail. Cool Ranch is starting to run through all of your squishies. Tries to go get into the thick of it. One Trick is down sub 50 health, taken down by Cool Ranch. Now Cool Ranch turns attention to the 2 DPS in the back. Less than a second to go. Overtime is initiated and Cool Ranch falls. But who's on this point? It's just Fives alone. This is as far as Southern New Hampshire is going to get.
Oh my word. I mean, it was a dogfight just to get around the corner and get the first point. And then we had the investment of SCA Lover. You know, we thought that was going to completely change the tenor of this push coming from SNHU. But then it was the switch from Beadsy going over to the Widowmaker, taking Dwums out and completely stalling SNHU out, and there was nothing to be done after that.
Yeah, Beadsy didn't get as much done as I anticipated on the Ash, but like you mentioned, that swap. Ooh, those shots were clean. Holy cow, that kill on the drums. That was a nice little play from Cool Ranch that forced Crimrun to jump out from their cover. And then Beadsy is right there to take advantage, finds the shot immediately. I mean, great little 1-2 punch and good synergy from Cool Ranch and Beadsy as well. Working together, working in tandem with the Genji and the Widowmaker.
I mean, this is some clinical stuff that's come from Carlton. Now you can see why they are undefeated. Only dropped one map the entirety of the semester. SNHU though, I mean, they're not playing horribly. I just think that the adaptation, the on the spot adaptation that's coming through from Carlton Ravens is superior.
Wait. I'm sorry to interrupt. Look at the top left of your screen. Keep an eye over the rooftop. Observer, go up. They're gonna Life Weaver pull over the rooftop. I'm almost positive. Yes. Keep an eye up here. Watch the Reinhardt.
Oh my God, no shot.
Yeah, I have a feeling this. They're probably gonna mess it up. Let's go ahead. Let's see if they can do it. The goal is to propel the Life Weaver up and then pull the Reinhardt over. Where's the Life Weaver?
This is Overwatch at its finest.
Here we go. Here they go. Oh, he messed it up. Our producer was right. Only Cool Ranch made it over, and now they're there by themselves. SNHU is standing around going, "Where's the team?"
You'll love to see it. But they did give up a lot of space there in the interim. So while it failed miserably and horribly, they still get a lot of space in return.
Oh my goodness, the God voice in our ears completely predicted that, by the way. Big pin in and pull right back out there for the Reinhardt. Ryan is so tough. You don't have your reflect projectiles in this, all right? We're not on the April Fool's patch. I know Ryan is a blast to play on the April Fool's patch, but this is live, y'all.
That's going to be Death. Death should be incoming for a lot of people.
They're making it work.
YOLO!
No, it's the beautiful coordination with Cool Ranch that is allowing this to work. And then you have Beatsy as a threat with the Bastion, so it keeps Adrian Win safe as they're in there just swinging, and it feels like the Ryan should be vulnerable, but no, that is just a big bait.
That's still a YOLO charge. I don't care what you say, Jeff.
Yeah.
You know me. I YOLO all the time with Reinhardt. Still, I mean, the support's there. Exactly what they need. SCA is a genius right now.
Yeah, Blue Boss is pushing cart. You've got a 4v5 up here with just SCA Lover as the healing required. Wheels down there for BT. They have the artillery strike. Yeah, this is almost done. We got a Life Weaver tree up at the door. SNHU can't even get out of their spawn. They're running into a Bastion. The Soldier made out fives. Looking for the contest. Gets there, but dies to Blue Boss right as they touch. Carlton Raven take map 2. Now sitting on match point. 1 map away from moving on to our finals.
I mean, they're feeling it. That's all there is to it. After they, their defense around on its head, they were definitely feeling their oaths, and they absolutely showed us what can be done with a little bit of ingenuity.
A Zen play of the game here from One Trick. Gotta love it. Gotta love a good Zen play of the game. Unfortunately, I think it's just a bit of a consolation prize here for Southern New Hampshire. They played well. You talked about it, Billy. Like, it feels like they're playing solid. They're playing Overwatch like it should, like you would see in the playbook. But the X factor of BT, Cool Ranch, Adrian winning the rest here. Even with a few botch plays, it's hard to know what's coming against this squad. Carlton Ravens, 1 map away from the finals. We'll see what happens when we return with map 3 after a short break. A comprehensive win there for Carlton Ravens on Circuit Royale. Coming out a bit of a fun comp. We got to see some Reinhardt in 2024. Billy, I can't believe my eyes.
The world is healing. The world is healing. But, I mean, it was a little silly. But in the end, it actually ends up working very well. It was very well thought out. So, there's a lot to be said for pulling that out and being successful with it and being even more dominant with it. That just shows some great synergy for this Carlton team. But that is in the past, and now we have what could be our ultimate map here. We're heading to Flashpoint, and we're going to be heading to Suravasa, your mind's favorite Flashpoint. It's so gorgeous here. It's your backdrop.
It's a pretty map.
And, well, this is going to be a fantastic time for him. We do have a substitution coming in, though. Adrian Win is gone. BD Glow is coming into the tank role. So this should be fun. I mean, are they trying to get some more experience out there for their other players? Is this a little bit of moxie? We shall see what we shall see in the streets and our alleyways of India.
If I had to guess, they're going towards, like, we've seen a lot of kind of Zombie 2.0 come out from Carlton, but with a Wrecking Ball, right? Where we've seen kind of, it's not been a Sombra, it's been typically been a Tracer with the Reaper, whereas original Zombie comp was a Sombra. But still, it wouldn't surprise me if we're seeing BD Glow come in to play either a Ramatra or an Orisa. From Adrian Win, we saw a lot of Wrecking Ball, and we saw a touch of Sigma there on Circuit Royale. I would anticipate, yeah, there we go.
I mean, it definitely does lend itself to it here, especially in Suravasa. Surprised that it's not the Ramatra, but I mean, Orisa does work here, especially if you have a Lucio, which we do. So you're going to be able to get the battle cattle around just fine. You've got two quasi flankers though, in the Sojourn and the Genji.
I think the Orisa is kind of the baseline of the meta right now. There's a lot of room to play off of that and experiment with that and deviate, but I still think Orisa is your baseline meta tank at the moment. Who do you think SNHU are trying to attack here? Who do you pounce on with a dive comp in this?
I mean, you're either looking for the Sojourn or you're looking for the Lucio. You're looking for the disengage, or you're looking for the one-shot potential.
Neither of those sound like fun targets to try to dive on. Looks like Fives and Crim Runner on the outside looking for, I believe that was BZ. They got found out and kind of just ran off. Carlton get to move on to this objective and start first cap for free.
I mean, hack on to Cool Ranch, not really anything doing on the back of that. So, I mean, you know, you can get all the mana hacks you want in the world, but if the sustain is there and if the focus isn't there, then, I mean, you're kind of, you know, just hacking to hack.
Yeah, you're just getting a little serotonin from hearing the noise. All right, our BT does look like the target indeed. BT is going to slide out, but not before taking a good amount of damage. Pursuit is in, and BT falls. One Treco gets hunted out while this is happening, so HNHU need to finish this fight quickly. Good pounce onto Blue Boss. It's a good turn. Now all attention is turned on to, well, Full Ranch and BD Low are the one turning the attention around as BD Glow initiates this comeback, and Cool Ranch finishes him off.
60 health and a dream, and they end up taking Dino Tank down. I mean, that is some massive support coming from Blue Boss and SCA. This time, SCA is like the heal bot here for Carlton Ravens Red, saving the amp or the healing instead of the disengage, and just using normal speed out. So, I mean, they're going to give it first flashpoint here. So, market gone to Carlton Ravens Red. They only need 2 more flashpoints to book their spot into the finals. But SNHU had just been visited by the RNG gods, and they're going to have a pulse bomb on deck.
One Trick doesn't die in that previous fight. HNSU win that. Huge pick from Cool Ranch early in that engagement. Looking for One Trick to stay alive here. They're already, so look how far out they are. One Trick does manage to swift step back, but they had to use all their cooldowns to do it. There's no Suzu in this fight, and here's ultimates coming online for Carlton as they move on to the point. Chasing SNHU all the way around the outside. It's a bit of ring around the pointy here. Coalescence just escorting BD Glow forward with all the heals they can possibly want to spear down Dino Tank.
My word, that is an impressive pursuit. SDA just says, you know what? We're just going to amp speed. We're just going to keep it on speed. Blue Boss, you got the Coalescence. You got the heals. A little bit of a dance here from Genji. Having a little fun. They've got Blade online. Terra Surge into a Blade. Oh, no. This could be dangerous.
I think Cool Ranch decided to go the long way around. No, okay, they did stop. That long pursuit might have put him out of the fight, but
oh my God,
they end up just getting stuck back here. Easy pickings for Cool Ranch on this Genji.
You got out. You got out, but just at what cost? I mean, that's only one ultimate. So, I mean, the past 2 fights, Jeff, one on a singular ultimate. That is economy at its finest. But now you're going into 4 from SNHU. This has to be the fight where they can flip it.
Sound barrier for sound barrier. I think the pulse needs to be huge, and the timing on the rush needs to be perfect. One of those things have got to get huge value. Or catch BC out of position. Sound barrier now in to counter the rush from SNHU Pearl. Dwums goes down before they're able to unleash the sounds of healing in their own right. But Crimrun is here despite the lack of sound barrier to punish. Oh, Rico right into the Terror Surge. Woo, the timing on that was delicate. BD Glow falls just before Crimrun finds themselves the victim of that. SNHU win their first fight of the map.
On the back of one ultimate. So, I mean, once again, very economic fight for SNHU. That's exactly what they needed. Now they're going to have tools here to kind of hold the point. They're going to have both DPS ultimates. So, I mean, you look for an early pick here. Crimrun, get a little bit daring here with your Pulse Bomb. Force the Suzu out. Let, Fives come in on the back of it. And light them up with the overclock. I mean, there's a lot to play with here. And then you've got Dino Tank that can reset the health pool.
Those DPS are so low. Yeah, the supports are trying to keep Fives alive while Crimrun was still pursuing. A little bit of a disconnect here from the DPS of SNHU, and it might cost them. 4v4 thanks to that trade out from One Trick. Overclock from the outside from Fives. Looking for a target, finds a half-low Beadsy. Now 2 headshots onto the Ariza. Sound barrier in from SNHU should propel them to victory. We have seen Carlton claw back from a deficit before. Blue Boss pops a Coalescence to try to make it happen this time. Pursuit onto the SZA Lover on the outside, and they will eventually pick up that kill. But you still have an Orisa and a Moira hanging out on this point. 91%, we're going to a 99-99 fight for SNHU to try to keep their hopes alive in this series. Fives is able to get 1. Turns attention on to Cool Ranch, has to back away. Deflect used. Ooh, One Trick is back behind the whole team. Teleports in. Fives slides through. Fives with no health. BD Glow right in their face is going to punch him down. Finally, Dino Tank returns, and everybody finds a little bit of revenge, taking down not only BD Glow, but SEA Lover as well. SNHU, hang on.
That by the skin of their teeth. I mean, that pick that came in directly onto One Trick, I thought they were out of it, but Dwums really did hold the line there. And I mean, some beautiful work there from Crimrun, pulling out resources with that Pulse Bomb. That's a huge stagger pick there. This should set up SNHU very firmly as they go work towards, I believe we're heading towards Garden.
Yeah, Carlton have got the RNG on their side on this one, though. So SNHU need to act fast in the small window where Blue Boss is not in the fight. There's a notable lack of sustain. Yep, Blue Boss has returned. That window is shut.
Yep, I mean, the RNG is just too good for them this time. That's unlucky because that's a great opening pick and kind of stagger. And they're running in a Terror Surge there. Nothing to defend against it other than a Suzu.
SNHU made a big rotation to come in behind Carlton. May have outfought themselves a little bit on that one. 5v5 on this point. Oh, but all focus on the Dino Tank. They were so close to that Primal. Now the Blade here. Cool Ranch with the Katana finds Dwums up in a corner. Cuts the Lucio down. Woo! Nice little dash through the window, but can't escape. A shot of Beadsy.
Beadsy has gone back to the Reaper BT dubs. And will be chunking down poor Dino Tank. They will have the reset, though. with the Primal coming up here. I mean, they're coming up on 5 ultimates, so I mean, SHU, they've got the tools to take this. They've just got to be very, very judicious as they portion them out.
Maximum efficiency with the upcoming ultimates. Everyone looking to start things off through the pulse, and that one got nada. All right, ult number 2. It's Blue Boss in return here with the Coalescence, looking to hunt down Crimrun. Oh, blinking up top, Suzuyo's now One Trick gets the rush out. Just a dying wish here on to this point. No one's the last chance here for SNHU. Drums is going to invest the sound barrier as well as 5 slides onto the point, trying to escape the wrath of the Orisa from BD Glow. Has SCA Lover chasing him as well. Eventually they fall. 5s will not get the overclock up in this fight. It's up to Dino Tank with this Primal Rage. Trying to skirt the line, but doesn't pop the Primal in time. Carlton clean up here. They'll take their second flashpoint.
Well, I mean, I think that's a good hold there, honestly, from Dino Tank, as they have taken Temple now. Or I'm sorry, they've taken Ruins. So now we are, in fact, heading towards Palace. And I want to see. I mean, BZ has this Death Blossom online. Dino Tank has lost, thrown away the Primal, is now bringing out their own Battle Cattle.
I mean, that just tells you the priority Dino Tank and Southern New Hampshire are putting on making the swap. It's not worth holding on to the ultimate. Both have already taken the high ground, forced them down, and Dwum's got caught on that little ledge. BD Glow is able to get the damage in with the Javelin Spear from the high ground. 5 pops his overclock from the outside, landed 2 on Zoliver. Can't quite find the 3rd. Here comes BD Glow to back him up. BD Glow is overstaying quite a bit. Look at all the damage. Here comes both supports trying to back him, trying to keep him topped off, but it was just too much. Still, with the Coalescence in play, Blue Boss is able to find 1. Gets interrupted by a Javelin from Dino Tank, and One Trick finds that final blow. Southern New Hampshire still have a dog in this fight, but it is falling away, slipping between their fingers here by the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't hear the Blossom go off, so I don't know if it got interrupted or if it got stunned out. But seriously, like, they weathered the storm here, and I mean, the fact that they're still in this fight, kinda, is great news for them.
Smart rotation from SNHU, and they've managed to get themselves point presence. And now reinforcements are returning. Cavalry is here! 5's got 1. Terror Surge gets another. Blue Boss is low and under the ire of Dino Tank's Orisa. The Javelin lands. Dino Tank comes in with a vengeance on that fight.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. That's exactly what they needed. Now they're going to get some positive percentage going up. They're going to have Sound Barrier coming in the next fight, plus a Pulse Bomb. I think the real kicker here for them is going to be Kitsune Rush. It's going to help 5s build up to an overclock. We've seen how good they are with those charged rail shots. So, I mean, you're hoping on a prayer. This is your season on the line. Can you get the extra 65% needed?
Are they clocking Cool Ranch, who's on a deep flank on the left-hand side with the katana ready to go? Here's the circle around. One Trick eats a energy spear, but is able to back up safely. Still, BT now has a power position on this high ground, and Cool Ranch was found out before able to unleash the katana. SNHU are making a defensive rotation, giving up a little bit of point presence, and Carlson are looking like they're taking it back, but a Kitsune Rush from SNHU will move them back onto this point. Dino Tank is opted to shoot into the back line, and it's a good option. You find 2 squishies, but you sacrifice 5s in the process. Terror Surge comes out from BD Glow. It allows Dwubs to go down. I think that was an HA. I did not see any green shielding from that 0%. We're looking at Dwubs' ult economy right now. Still a good turn for another. Zolov is going to fall. Crimrun and Dino Tank, they will not die. Southern New Hampshire, never give up, never surrender.
Yeah, they did give up the point, though, at some point. So, you know, that should have been, if they would have stayed on the point, they would be moving on to map point number 5. We'd be going to Garden. And as it stands, they're going to have to win at least one more fight. But Terror Surge coming up for Dino Tank, that's going to be a big kicker for them.
Not where that beat did land. It just, well, it had just been whittled through by the time I saw it. Still, must have been enough because they win the fight. But now, do you have anything to do with this katana? Already 2 kills going to the favor of SNHU, and nothing! Good boop. No resets from Cool Ranch, and they get zilch out of that ultimate. We're going to a one final flashpoint to decide this map.
It's Garden, and I mean, you've got the best tank there for it with the Orisa being able to hold court there. And you've got, you've got both DPS ultimates ready to go here for SNHU. They might be getting themselves on the board here. We might be going to a magical map number 4. One Trick will have Kitsune Rush into this fight as well. So Kitsune Rush versus the Coalescence. Those are the 2 big ones I'm looking at right now, Jeff.
This is looking like a stacked war chest here for Southern New Hampshire. And they've got point presence to start. 5 and 2 underdogs have everything they need. Get themselves back into this. Coalescence to start things off. Dino Tank gonna pop that Terror Surge just to try to get BD Glow in front of a Coalescence. A bold move, a lot of trust. Kitsune Rush is in here from Southern New Hampshire. Vibes with an overclock on the outside. Beadsy, oh, you took her on the wrong side of that pillar. Now Fives is able to move in. Still 100 ready to go. Looking for that. Woo, gets it. It was Blue Boss in the back that I was trying to see through the mess, but guess what? Fives has him locked in. SNHU win this first fight.
Can we talk about how good One Trick was there in just that last 5 seconds? Throws Suzu down as the spin comes through, and then they also are able to swift step out of the javelin spear that comes through. So I mean, there's a lot that just happened there from One Trick. Now there's going to be a sound barrier advantage for SNHU. Beadsy off of the Reaper, and now on to the Cassidy.
Deal with Crim Run. You're gonna get outranged by Fives. That's not a good duel to take if you're the Cass. Still able to put some pressure, forces Fives around the corner. Grimman was on the outside, but was fighting a 1v2, had to just back out. Number from Dwums, they try to push forward, but SNHU Pearl just run into a meat grinder. That is BD Glow there. Fives able to hunt down Beadsy on the outside. Woo! One Trick trying to escape Cool Ranch, but Cool Ranch is able to find him. Now lands the pulse onto Dino Tank. Cool Ranch might have just delivered Carlton a dub here. Dwums is able to find their counterpart on the outside. Dwums is still alive and well and able to keep this overtime going. Ooh, decides to back on out and live to fight another day.
Another Kitsune Rush is going to be online, though, Jeff, as they approach this next fight. Another overclock as well. So, I mean, there's lots in the war chest. Once again, for this Pearl team, double support ultimate should be online. At least the Kitsune Rush from Blue Boss eschewing the Moira in favor of the Suzu.
I think it's the first time we've seen him on the Curie today. Be mistaken on that. Grimma tried to come through the top, leading the charge, but that was a mistake. He just ran through the front line into a world of hurt. Oh, One Trick was down to 27 health there, Billy. That was so close. Oh, they're gonna find him! That might be the map! You can't afford to lose your carry right here, and Carlton know it. They're gonna invest their Kitsune Rush on this and try to find more kills. They're getting them, Billy. They're getting them!
Yep, it's done. It's done. Try to get out. I dare you to try and come out. That's what they're saying right now. Sound barrier is going to keep you up. You can stay right there.
Oh, the Deadeye doesn't hit Dwums. Dwums is on a race to the point. Cool Range finds Crimlin. There's no touch. It's a 3-0. Carlton Ravens are moving on to your Challengers Northeast Grand Finals.
I mean, that was a damn good Flashpoint map. We saw some heart come out from SNHU there.
Yeah.
Dino Tank had a hell of a match. Here across all 3 maps. I mean, really, it was a Moira versus a Kiriko all game long, and then the DPS of Carlton is the big difference maker here on the day, Jeff, as they were able to adapt and overcome a lot of what SNHU were trying to throw at them.
Very smart swaps, very smart adaptation from Carlton. Even when it looked a little anti-traditional and even downright silly when they're bringing out a Life Weaver and a Reinhardt, but it all had plans behind it, and it was all very calculated. The best look we saw from Southern New Hampshire was right in the very beginning of the match. They were playing the Reaper Somber Tracer. They were able to win that first sub-map, but Carlton made the adjustments needed and never looked back.
Yeah, they never really did. The fact that they bring out Genji, which I've only seen a handful of times now. I mean, they're starting to see this too. It's the immediate factor and the immediate ability to turn fights with the Genji. We saw it come out on the Flashpoint as well. We saw Cool Ranch come out on the Genji there as well, and got lots of value in the back of it.
They see Cool Ranch looking around, just going, "Who's next? Who wants some?" There was nobody left. You had already killed them all. Now Carlton just awaits. Well, there's another semifinal match going. We'll have to see who their opponent will be heading into finals.
I don't know. Next week is grand finals, Jeff.
Yes.
And I mean, this spring semester has been lit up with stars. The students have been so darn good. I mean, they have represented themselves well. They've been very good accountings of themselves. I could not be prouder to have casted this entire season. We're going to have the grand finals, like I said, next week. But I mean, here's how we got to where we were at. It was never a one-sided affair, except for I think Circuit Royale was kind of a stomp, even though they did give up the first point. But
I'd agree with that.
I mean,
Circuit was the most one-sided of the maps.
yeah, I mean, this was very hotly contested. I mean, 3-0 does not tell the story of what just happened here in the Challengers division.
I'm so glad we got to cast some challengers as well. You know, we love to focus on our the super high end teams. I mean, that's always fun to watch. But I mean, look, we would have missed such amazing talent as Adri One Win and Cool Ranch and Beadsy if we hadn't got to take a look at Carlton. And I mean, this what has been a flawless season. They're now sitting at 9-0, counting their 2 postseason matches, with still only 1 map dropped in the entirety of those 9 matches. Billy, yeah, I just love the fact that we can showcase all of what Collegiate Overwatch has to offer, not just the top 5 teams.
No, you know me. I love everybody. I love everybody from the emergence all the way up to the legend. So, I mean, this is what, our 3rd year casting NECC, and I mean,
Yes,
it's always entertaining. No matter the division, no matter what class that we're in, it doesn't matter. It's still Overwatch at the end of the day, and they're all playing with heart. And that's why I keep coming back to this. That's why we keep coming back to NECC, is because it's all about these students putting their hearts on the line. And we love to see it every single week.
Well, we're going to take a little break, but we hope that you come back and join us for our final match of the night. We're going to have our champion semifinals matchup, Oklahoma U taking on Washington U, when we return with NECC playoffs.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the NECC semifinals for the Champions Division here in Overwatch 2. My name is Sam Tonks, joining me to Tryhard Ray. And Ray, we have an insane matchup tonight with Oklahoma University going up against Washington University in St. Louis.
Yeah, both teams have had a great season. Keep in mind, this is the Champions Central Division, as we'll go ahead and take a look at these brackets while we go ahead and explain the teams. So, for Oklahoma, they are having an incredible season so far. They are undefeated, Sam, and they have only dropped 2 maps, and they have been beating the likes of College, who are an extremely strong contender in NECC.
It's insane, the run that Oklahoma has been having. It's insane what they've been able to accomplish. And so far, what we're getting out of our semifinals, or just the finals, the playoffs in general from the Champion Central Division, is that each of the teams that have moved on to the semifinals are very confident in what they are capable of. Every single matchup has been a 3-0 so far. And this only makes me scared of what could possibly happen when we even enter into the grand finals themselves. But for Washington University in St. Louis, they are going to have their work cut out for them tonight.
Yeah, but they are no slouches. As we can see, they are 6-1 and have a plus 13 map differential. The only loss they took was to Brian Cliff University, who was the 1 seed coming out of their division. So they are also on a very good tear throughout this season. So it's going to be the clash of the Titans as we go ahead and start to focus in. Take a little microscopic search at Oklahoma's roster.
Indeed so. And right here, Oklahoma, Jaiva, Revan, Paralysis, Happy, and Deacon, a team that has gone throughout the season undefeated, a team that has done the trials, the tribulations, and have proven to us all what they're capable of, and obviously that they're capable here to be in the semi-finals of the NECC Champions Division. But now, Ray, let's go ahead and take a look over at Washington University in St. Louis.
As we got QWQ, Elo, Peachy, Azure, and Bradley. So again, like we talked about, both of these teams have had a fantastic season. The big question for me as we're looking at Washington is going to be for Oklahoma is they've pretty much, so we said they've, been on this tear and they've only dropped 2 maps. Both of those 2 maps were to College. So everyone else, they have 3-0'd. Besides that match, they really haven't faced much adversity. And the further you get through these playoffs, the tougher the teams you play. So when you're going up against some competition like you will today for Oklahoma, how are they going to be able to handle that?
And that's the question that's been circulating through our minds. That's going to be the question that I'm sure that's circulating through their minds. How are we going to be able to stand up to Oklahoma? They've been able to accomplish so much. They've done almost everything that they can do, and they've done it perfectly, it feels like, except for that 2-map differential. But now we go and talk about the maps, and hopefully this is where things are going to be able to start off for Washington. Otherwise, Oklahoma could continue to run away with it. But it all begins here, Ray, on our first map of Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, and I mean, now that we've been on the patch for as long as we have, you're in this situation, if you are these college teams where you've had a lot of time to practice, a lot of time to get used to these new compositions and new, tank meta, which tank is the best and which one is reigning supreme. I think, we're still going to see a lot of Maga and a lot of Orisa, especially more on a brawly close quarters type map like Lijiang Tower. So I can't wait to see what adaptations these teams have made on this patch so far now that we've had all this time to practice on it.
And it all comes down to also understanding your opponent, looking back at scrims, looking back at the VOD reviews, and trying to figure out what the success has been and how to go about dismantling it. But of course, when we're talking about the Champions Division, Ray, there's a lot of adaptability here. There's not much that's going to be in the form of breaking their backs against anything. So there should always be an answer, and an answer to whatever they have going on against each other.
Couldn't agree with you more as we get loaded up into the lobbies and we get a preview of what these teams are looking at. We are starting out on Gardens, which, tends to open itself up for the possibility of running some sort of dive. But both of these teams are like, nah, we're going to go the route of the Orisas. These Sims are going to become Tracers. That's going to be the big matchup for me, is going to be Elo versus Jaiva. Sojourn going up against the Echo. The Echo is going to have a lot of burst damage potential, but if Elo can take some good angles and find some really good rail shots, that's going to be the opening that Watsu is looking for.
It really is. Jaiva, though, is going to be the sort of nuisance and that pressure that's going to be continued to applied onto Washington University. Already putting themselves onto the point is going to be Oklahoma, where Washington is going to try and meet against them. Jaiva taking off in this flank position, landing a couple of those sticky nades onto Elo's face. Looking back around, though, Paralysis is going to be the first one to fall, and Oklahoma is going to try and reconvene and right the ship as best they can, looking for any possible damage. The loss of your tank so early on to the fight is going to give Washington University this first capture of the point.
Yeah, and they're going to clean up as the players for Oklahoma were not able to get out of dodge. So that's going to be the key for Oklahoma, is protecting Paralysis on that Orisa. That's probably the worst opening pick you could have allowed if you're Oklahoma. I feel like if you're Jaiva and Revan, you got to find your way, especially with this Echo, to find the angles and look to get this burst damage down, or else what's the point of the Echo?
Around. Paralysis back with the team. Everyone's regrouped with each other. Oklahoma is still prodding at the weaknesses of Washington, but they're not going to be able to find them. Paralysis pushed back once more. Revan's pick off onto Azura is going to be massive. A healer gone, and a lot of sustainability along with it for Washington University. Even more so, you've gotten rid of the Kitsune Rush, so any chances of being able to hold on here died with them.
That it did, but I think Washington University was doing the right thing in just backing up. I wasn't sure if they were going to look to fight on the point and take as much percentage. Now they're able to take a quick recontest that they are.
That was scary. Almost got knocked off, but we're going to see an ultimate for an ultimate. Bradley's sound barrier in exchange for Deacon's Kitsune Rush. Now we're going to see another one. Here comes in the Terror Surge. Ultimates are being popped off at a mile a second here, but it's Oklahoma who is finding the greatest of success. Jaiva's duplicate onto the Orisa, spinning them all off to their death. Oklahoma a firm iron grip on this point.
And that's a really good ult exchange if you're Oklahoma. 3 for 3. You couldn't ask for better. You commit a lot of ults, but you force out a lot of ultimates in exchange. And you're going to have the perfect counter to these incoming DPS ultimates, because you're going to have happy sound barriers. So they are locked and loaded in a really good position, as now they take the lead percentage-wise, Sam.
WQ, Elo holding on by the thinnest of margins. He'll back up to full, now needs to use the overclock to find success, but Happy is going to dampen that success, and even worse as Revan eliminates this overclocking Sojourn. QWQ with nowhere left to go, health down in the negatives. Peachy speared and out of here, flown off the map is Bradley. And Oklahoma, it was a rocky start, but it's just looking perfection from them right now.
Yeah, as you mentioned, ever since they had that unfortunate very first fight where they lost Paralysis earlier, they have not looked back. This is going to be Washington's opportunity to get back in, but it's going to be on the back of QWQ to make something happen. Sam has the pulse bomb. Oklahoma has nothing to deal with it right now, so this is their opportunity to find a way in.
Last team fight here for Washington. They need to get the point right here, right now. Otherwise, Oklahoma is walking away with the first sub map. It's looking like it might. In comes the pulse bomb, but a little too wide, finding no damage and finding no eliminations from it until ELO has to step up to the plate, has taken down Paralysis. Now the rest of Washington swarming onto the site, demolishing through Oklahoma and purchasing themselves some life.
That's the kind of fights you're going to need if you're Washington. All you really committed in that fight was the pulse bomb. However, Oklahoma, they're just slowly building to a stockpiled war chest of ultimates. 4 they're going to have online, and they should be able to use all 4 of them to take this map. Sam, it's going to take a gargantuan sound barrier from Bradley to mitigate a lot of these ultimates coming in.
PG's so close to their own Terror Surge. Up through here, Jaiva, duplicate onto the Orisa, looking for the juicy support targets in the backline, but ripped out of it. Now a Terror Surge from Paralysis pulls their way through a sound barrier to keep the team alive. What a protection, Suzu, and then what a snipe onto Revan. Get them out of here. Washington University now has a Terror Surge, and they are eating them all alive. Oklahoma, they felt like they were in control. They felt like they had it all. But Washington University comes back with an answer of their own, and they hold firm, they hold strong. What a play.
And that was exactly what I talked about. Between the Kitsune Rush and the Sound Barrier, they mitigated every single ultimate that Oklahoma had coming into that fight. And in the meantime, while those support ultimates are going off, they were able to build up to the Terror Surge and the Overclock and clean up. That was just a clinic on how to properly rotate and use these ultimates properly if you're Washington. That was just beautiful to see, Sam.
Goodness gracious, looking at the replay, that Azure Suzu onto the pulse bomb, then to follow it up by eliminating the Tracer with a clean headshot. It was picturesque. A moment that you will like frame on the fridge, right? Mom, get the camera. Washington University, though, has that first sub map. We're not looking at much differences here between our two teams.
Yeah, I mean, so far, it's just, I mean, that was 99.99. You can ask for more when you're going up against the best of the best that NECC has to offer in the Central Champions division. As now Jaiva, now that this is Night Market, you're going to have a lot of interesting angles that you can take around, especially with these windows that you can throw the sticky bombs in through.
But I'm on the point, Washington University forcing Oklahoma to meet them on it, taking advantage of all of the shielding that they have available to them. Oh, this is just disgusting. They were wanting to go for it. Elo caught out once more. Jaiva sees the opportunity, and they're always going to be taking it and pushing them off the edge. Happy's double kill boop. Every Lucio's dream wrapped up in a blanket. Oklahoma taking control of the point first.
And that just gets you so much percentage toward that Sound Barrier. Happy already going to have it coming into this next fight because of that double boop kill that you allowed to happen. Washington, unfortunately, just they never got the angle on Jaiva and were able to put pressure on them to be able to. That's Elo's job, is knowing where Jaiva is and being able to apply and make Jaiva have to back up.
So close right there. This time around, the table has been turned. Oklahoma gets a benefit from being inside of the gazebo itself. Trying to keep their eyes, maybe put some pressure onto the support line of Oklahoma, but they're not falling into it. And Happy has this Sound Barrier. Anything goes sideways, anything goes topsy-turvy, that's going to keep the team up and going. And now we have the counteracting oh my gosh. Revan was right there, but a quick blink is going to put them back onto the firm footing of this earth. And now we're going to see Happy expend the Sound Barrier. Oklahoma coming back for blood and for revenge on what happened on that previous submap.
Yeah, that was an absolutely devastating fight for Washington. 3 ultimates in exchange for 2, and your pulse bomb got nothing. Process was able to eat that with the javelin spin. So now Oklahoma is in much more of a power position coming in to this next fight. Revan's going to have the pulse bomb. We haven't seen any pulse bombs really connect like that from these Tracers in this match so far. So looking for a big one coming out of Revan to set things up and tie this up and force a map 3.
May be ending now. Had to see if Elo can make it happen. Hit with a javelin spear up against the wall, and now nothing is going to be garnered off of the back of that overclock. They are going to get the point, but is it going to be a more permanent hold, or is it just a tenuous grasp at best? Pulse bomb goes wide, doesn't quite stick onto his target, but now we're going to see the Terror Surge come in. Quick boop now to return the favor once more. They get out of there with that protection Suzu. Azura has been caught out though. And now for Oklahoma, they just need to press the target, press the attack. Paralysis is so low, Peachy is not going to let them get out of here with their life. Put them back onto the point. It's just up onto the shoulders of the rest of whoever remains on the side of Washington University. They've gotten rid of paralysis, but now they've also gotten rid of the point. So as it's ticking upward, they need to balance it delicately to get back on there and bring themselves into overtime. It's a back and forth rotation between this, but neither side going up against the other as they're ready to meet and fight once more.
Yeah, but Sound Barrier was forced out of Brownie. Now they can re-engage with the Kitsune Rush.
Oh, and this is going to be massive too because Happy still has a Sound Barrier of their own. You'll keep Elo locked away. Don't allow the Reaper to run off with their own power. Azure brings out the Kitsune Rush, but who is going to be able to use it? Revan, like a nuclear bomb in the back of their targets. They are all just gone. And for Oklahoma, the second sub-map of Night Market is going to be theirs. Ray, we are looking at the third one.
and that's Oklahoma coming back in, fighting angry, coming back with a vengeance as they played that beautifully. And I felt like that was going to be the perfect map for Jaiva. Just so many different positions and spots you could come from as the Echo, and being able, I mean, like windows all over the point. You can just, you know, gently float in the high ground, throw in those sticky bombs, keep your distance, and you can get a lot of value out of the Echo specifically on this map. We do know the final map will be Control Center. I think this is the map where the Echo is going to be the least effective of the three. So if they're going to continue to play this Echo, which it seems like they aren't based on what we're lined up in right now. But the one thing I'm excited about is Washington University. They are locked and loaded on the Ram composition with the May. So they're going full brawl May Reaper with the Moira too. So they are looking full brawl and looking to win these fights fast with the limited heals that the Moira is going to be able to provide.
Hopefully it's going to work out for them because it needs to. Oklahoma now meeting against their matchup of Washington University and St. Louis. I was a very convincing win on Night Market. Control Tower, there has to be some fight back from Washington. There has to be some answer, and hopefully it's going to be here. But Jaiva has questions and answers of their own, and what's even scarier is the poke potential of this Cassidy, holding the high ground, looking down at the targets, lands the sticky nade. It's going to be ice blocked out, so you've drawn something away from them, but they've lost paralysis once more. And even though they got the pick onto Elo, it's not really good enough to equalize things out, especially, wait a minute though, you gotten rid of QWQ, and now you're starting to see even more possibilities here. They're an even worse rate. We've lost signals.
Oh, very unfortunate as, so with the compositions that we're seeing out of these teams, the problem for Oklahoma is just going to be the isolation of their Orisa. But for Washington, this Tracer being able to get in your backlights and Revan being able to poke from a distance, that's your issue. You have to find a way to get Jaiva off your backline. You don't have to even kill them, just get them away and find a way to get on top of Revan. You can't allow him to poke.
And Oklahoma is so good at drawing out cooldowns early from Washington University. Here's the coalescence from Azure. It's looking at everything they possibly can. Oh my word, what is this set I gonna be capable of? Booped away, Revan's not gonna get much out of it, but they do get the sound barrier that's gonna keep them alive. Azure shot and dinked in the head, good enough for Happy to clean them up here, and good enough for Oklahoma to wipe the floor with Washington University.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, Sam. I mean, Azure kind of going on the flank to try and go after Revan. It just did not work. However, Oklahoma expended every single ultimate they had in this fight. So advantage in this ensuing fight is going to be in the favor of Washington. I feel you can just go in with this annihilation, and there's absolutely nothing that Oklahoma can do defensively to deal with it.
57% ticking in favor of Oklahoma. Washington University struggling against their target. This composition not going in the direction. Even with the Blizzard, Revan is still taking out your support. They're still taking out Azure. And Oklahoma is just not missing a singular beat, cleaving through every single last player of Washington University.
Yeah, you just cannot allow that to happen if you're Washington. You have a Lucio. You have to be able to get on top of these players. QWQ is now going to go over to a Cassidy of their own to be able to help in the poke battle, but it might just be too little too late. Final fight territory, they have to get value out of this Death Blossom Annihilation combination that they're going to have online.
Again, we're in final fight territory. It's so very close. Washington University gave us a phenomenal showing, but Oklahoma is that step up, a reminder of what this team is capable of and how scary they are. Peachy at death's door needs to stay alive to find the value out of this rampage, or give Elo a chance to pop off with a Death Blossom, but Revan's Deadeye finds right onto his target of QWQ, and Elo is still trying to find the opportunity to pop off here. We have the Coalescence going crazy, seeing at all possible angles of where there might be something to have happened here. Washington University, they've used almost every single piece of inside of the tool chest. They get the point back, but Oklahoma, well, they got something to work with themselves.
Yeah, they're going to be coming back with both of their support ultimates. This is where Danger's going to set in. I feel like you're just looking for a miracle Death Blossom from Elo to try and catch the players off guard before the sound barrier's online.
Oh, here it is, the Death Blossom. Oklahoma wanted to draw them right in there. Happy held onto the sound barrier for long enough to give Oklahoma the breathing room after that devastating ultimate that didn't quite go in the favor of Washington University. Now brought into overtime, this team needs to get back on and try to fight against Oklahoma, but a Deadeye is going to be the extra wrinkle in this plan. Looking at all of the possible targets, all of the possible angles, seeing any opportunity, they held on for as long as they possibly could, and that forced Washington to disperse away from each other and Oklahoma to just descend upon them and take it apart piece by piece. Oklahoma still inside of this overtime. Washington University not giving it up. The Coalescence needs to keep the team alive, and Washington University has pushed them back.
Oh, if they can get these exiting picks, Sam, it might be something here for Washington. Oh, man, it looks like Oklahoma is going to be able to get out. 85%, however, Oklahoma has no time to waste. They have to push in. Washington has no ultimates to work with, as Paralysis has the Terror Surge to be able to set things up and take Lijiang Tower.
The actual final fight territory to determine who's taking map 1 of Lijiang Tower. Get back in their face. Both of the tanks having their ultimate. A Terror Surge is going to go in. Revan has eliminated Elo, but Peachy's going to return the favor. The picks are going towards Washington University. They get right on top of them, but it's back and forth. The trades are coming in. Peachy sees the cowboy, yeehaws them out of here. Now it's a last chance, a last ditch effort for whatever Oklahoma was trying to do here. They need to get it done now. The team is trying to reconvene on top of each other. The reinforcements to come in and keep the hopes going. Paralysis staying alive. A beautiful stint from Taiba, but is it going to be enough to stop Washington? No, it is not. And Washington University has sent the first blow to Oklahoma in quite some time, taking map number 1 of Lijiang Tower.
Whew. So we're on map number 1, and I feel like I already need to take a breather, man. That was an insane first map from both teams. The number 2 and number 3 seeds going at it. Oklahoma, and this is the section where I was a little worried about if you're Oklahoma, was because you've spent all season where you had one game where you went 3-2 and you ended up getting the win. Except for that, you've 3-0'd everyone. Now you find yourself in a 1-0 deficit. How will you be able to handle this adversity? Can you regroup and bring things back together on map number 2? We're going to have to see. But for the side of Washington, man, that was impressive. When things were looking bad and things weren't looking great on that Ramacha composition, they kept true. They made the necessary swaps, brought QWQ over to the Cassie to be able to match Revan, and that was everything they needed, was a little bit of range to help force Revan to not be completely free. The QWQ could basically poke at him back.
Man, we got to give massive props here to Peachy. We're not only staying alive, but staying on this point the entire way through during that Deadeye. Had they not done that, a completely different story to be told for Washington University in St. Louis. But my goodness gracious, this was only map number 1, and the semifinals are already living up to their name, Ray. I can only imagine what kind of craziness we're going to get out of map number 2, but for the side of Washington, they just... After the misstep in Night Market, where we had it was a convincing win from Oklahoma. There's no two ways to write home about it. It was a reminder of what this team is capable of, why they've gone through this, the playoffs, why they've gone through the regular season, and the ways that they have. But those minor missteps is just something that Washington University was able to capitalize on. And it's a little moments between the players themselves that they're able to have these moments where they have individual pop-off scenarios that benefit the whole of the team, that really just drew things together and obviously gave them that first win.
Yeah, to me, it also felt like when it came to the tank versus tank battle, it really came down to the ultimates. I felt like they were getting massive amounts of value out of Annihilation. Conversely, the Terror Surge was not getting a whole lot from the Orisa, and I think that was a major difference, was when we had those tank ultimates up. It felt like every time Washington University of St. Louis was finding those team fight wins.
And good acquisition of targets to be able to get the maximum value outside of the Annihilation. I mean, Ramantra has been kind of that tank that's fallen off to the wayside a little bit, especially with sort of the new wave of the meta that we have. And with the staunchness of wanting to stick with the Orisa, it worked. It works a lot in theory, but from what we had in here, practicality, and obviously what we get out of OWCS, it just didn't quite pan out in the favor of Oklahoma. But now that we get to go into their map pick, Ray, potentially different scenarios as we're looking at Circuit Royale, right? The poke heavy map. We're probably going to be seeing a lot of Sigma in these early stages, a lot of Widowmaker, a lot of Hanzo potentially. And on top of that, we're also seeing some substitutes. Funnily enough, though, from Washington University.
Yeah, we got Wales coming in and Bubba coming in. So I think that's going to be map specific for Circuit Royale because it's kind of like you talked about. It feels like no matter what meta we are in, Circuit Royale will forever be a Sigma hit scan type of map. So for me, that's probably what Wales is coming in for, is to play that double hit scan, because we saw QWQ has the ability to play that Hanzo. Cassie. So they have the ability to play hit scans. So now you're in this situation where you probably want both of your DPS on those types of heroes. And then Bubba might be a shout if they want to go double flex support, because you're not looking for a Lucio on a map like this.
No, you're not. You're going through these long sight lines. You're going through moments where you don't really need speed as much, where you're really just looking for the opportunity to be able to position yourself correctly and keep the team alive and going. But I mean, it all is in the court of Oklahoma. They felt like they were coming into this. They had the confidence behind them of knowing what they've accomplished, knowing how they've gotten here. Washington University and St. Louis, whatever they've done, figured out whatever tools they needed to dismantle Oklahoma. They had it there. But then again, we talk about it for Oklahoma, that second sub map. They were so dominant. They were a force of nature almost, that it felt like. So Washington University, they may have gotten the first win, Ray, but they're not out of the woods just yet.
Oh no, I mean, Oklahoma, you have to think they're coming back with a vengeance on the map. This was their pick, so you feel like they gotta feel really confident coming into this next map. But like I mentioned, you're so used to 3-0ing. You're so used to getting these dubs if you're Oklahoma. How does it feel to just drop the first map like that? How is your mentals? Are you going to be able to mentally recover, especially with how close it was? It came down to the wire. Sometimes close maps like that can be the most frustrating ones to lose, because you can just be like, oh man, you know, just this happened and this happened and we could have won, and you can really get in your head about that kind of thing. Because sometimes when you're just in a blowout and you know the other team's better, you're just like, not much we could do here. You know what I mean?
I don't think for Oklahoma that's going to deter them much, Ray. I'm going to be honest, right? They've been in kind of these situations before. It's been a while, obviously, but they've been here. They know what it's like. You're not in the Champions Division. You're not in the playoffs. You're not in the semifinals. Your mental isn't crystal clear, and if victory isn't the only thing in your mind.
As we take a look at these compositions, no surprises here. Sigma all the way. Hanzo's Widows. I mean, full on mirror. So really, this is just going to be a battle of these hit scans looking for opening picks. And will you be able to find it? We know on a map like Circuit Royale, it can be very tough for these attacking hit scans to find your angles. That's actually one of the reasons why this map is under consideration for a possible rework coming in future seasons.
Could have been down on the ground below. Jaiva was in the skies and the heavens above in the last map of Lijiang, but going to take a bit more of a grounded territory here. Paralysis. Oh, so scary. Even scarier is the Whale's headshot, matching their mirror of Revan and getting rid of them. QWQ, I wanted to be left out of the kill feed either. Gets rid of Deacon, gets rid of the hopes for Oklahoma to continue this push.
As the big bad Whales coming into the map and already finding two big picks early on. If you're Oklahoma, you gotta watch your angles, watch your sight lines, because Whales and QWQ are hunting for you and they will find you. As we see, Jaiva has been able to take control of this high ground, but just will they be able to get Crossfire up there and force them away?
Oh, it was right there almost. You heard the dink on the Deacon. They're still alive, and that's all that matters. You're Oklahoma, looking down the sight lines. Cart's making slow but steady progress, pushing inch by inch against Washington University, gaining some of that valuable ground, and now gaining even more valuable pickoffs in the numbers. Revan has come alive, and Revan is ripping the heads off of all of the competition. Bubba is still alive and still living, but for not much longer. One headshot from Revan and a clean up from Deacon. Okay! Give me a break.
So, Sam, would you say Revan is revving up? Because that was absolutely insane. Finding these hook shots of another one. Wales is just finding the worst end of the stick when it comes to this Widow duel, as Revan has caught fire.
Revan, after being picked off first by Wales, literally said, "Oh yeah, bet," and then from that point on, has just been unstoppable. They've been chewing through every single one of them. Jaiva loses out on the duel against QWQ, but as long as Revan is still alive, it feels like pretty much anything is possible. Deacon is going to expend the Transcendence. Oklahoma has so much time. Wales hit with the Accretion Rock. Nothing to follow up from them there, but a clean headshot from Revan is all that's needed to get rid of their mirror.
Yeah, and this hill that Oklahoma is going up right now is going to be the toughest part of this defense, is being able to get through this choke. Finds Azure, goes down. Revan has been revving those tires so much he's now caught them on fire.
Bubba has the Transcendence, even with the Gravitic Flux from Paralysis. Is not going to take down anyone from Washington, but they had to be so cautious of Revan, who's been running away with the headshots onto Washington. And already they're mostly inside of the hotel. Oklahoma is ripping away on this cord. Here comes the amplification matrix. Wales has an opportunity to fire through, but again, they're not really gaining and garnering much out of the other end of this. The aim is just not there. Paralysis, suffering a little bit of their own friendly fire, is gone. Oklahoma, they're just gonna have to back off, and Washington University gets to chill.
Yeah, and now that you have a chance to breed, if you're Washington University, you have a chance with these hit scans to take these more favorable high ground defensive positions. So now that you've lost your momentum for Oklahoma, it's going to be that much tougher to push back in just because of this natural high ground Washington has available. So you're going to have to find a way to either find a pick early, or you're going to have to, like, maybe, you know, go underneath, under cover, and try and find a way up.
The important thing is don't lose your head. Don't let Revan do it. QWQ, a little scary for them. Sees him right there, and Revan does it again. They just keep getting away with it. Without Wales, Oklahoma sees this as their best opportunity. Okay, give me a break, Revan. They're just having the time of their life right now. It's just all so free. Peachy's gone, and this is pretty much just signed, sealed, and delivered for Oklahoma. Point B is now theirs.
Sign, seal, deliver, I'm yours. This man, Revan, is just... there's not much more to say, man. He is just running this lobby right now. On the window, and finds another. Wales, get yourself back into spawn, my friend, as you're going to have to live to fight another day. And I feel like if you're Washington, you just need to back up. You got to get your full team and take these positions.
Just look around. You never expect the flanking Widowmaker up in your high ground. Revan is decimating Washington University. Looking like for even more opportunities. Trying to take a nice vacation at the pool side. This Revan Widow is having other plans of ideations. Here's the Gravitic Flux being used. Bring him up in the air. Meanwhile, Revan is once again on a heyday. Being that difference maker for this team. Even with the Gravitic Flux, no one could do anything. Finally, Paralysis gets eliminated, but it really doesn't matter because Oklahoma is just doing their own thing. Peachy's stuck in the corner. Peachy is going to fall by their hands, and Revan is just going to go right back up into the front lines and continuing doing what they do best.
And now, as the cart is winding the final quarter, 2 minutes left. Washington, I mean, you're coming up on a lot of ultimates, but Oklahoma's going to have to wait. They don't have their full team with them. They're down their Sigma. They're going to have to just be patient and wait a little bit.
They don't even have their Widowmaker anymore because Revan's still here. It's just the thinnest of margins. You give Revan an inch and they are going to take a mile every single time. Wales has the infrasight, and so now they know where the targets they want to acquire are, but Oklahoma sees the finish line right in front of them. The Dragons have come out. It's going to push them away just for the moment, and Paralysis needs to dip behind the corner to get some breathing room, and Washington University is going to have some of their own.
Yeah, you're going to have the ability to use this amplification matrix, which again is going to buy you a lot of time and a lot of damage on the field. Will at least force Oklahoma back, if not find you some picks of your own, and then you will have this Transcendence Online, but mostly you're just going to be saving it as Wales finally gets the better end of Revan in the Widow duel.
The demon has been conquered, but for how long? They will be back. It's a minute on the clock. Bubba, their support, right? But there's Zenyatta, and they are angry. They are furious. They are transcending in the damage meters.
They said, you know, just look into the tranquility and you're going to find death as Bubba is just getting kill after kill. You're going to need that if you're watching. This is some much needed momentum you've been waiting for. Be careful. Oh,
Wales just feeling like they barely get out. They want to tempt fate even more and try to go against it once again. Revan and Wales both still alive. The Widowmaker still going in an amplification matrix again, trying to buy as much time as possible for Washington University.
As this will be final fight territory. Jaiva has been found on the flank, but they can't find the picks.
It's so close right there. They see it. Revan with these off-angle positions. Again, an inch turns into miles. And now the cart gets to progress even further. Final time for Washington University. They need to defend against Oklahoma with a whole chest of ultimates that this team has.
I was about to say, it doesn't even matter that Peachy is coming up on the flux. They have the ability to use the Transcendence.
Here it is. You think you're going to survive through this? This maybe. They get accretioned out of their gravitic flux. Doesn't really matter here for Peachy. Revan dominating the kill feed once more. Oklahoma inside of overtime, Ray, all of the way.
Revan said, I am angry that we lost that first map, and I am going to carry us on this map. And no matter what, I'm making sure we tie the series up heading into map number 3. And that was quite the show we just saw from Revan and the entirety of this Oklahoma squad. I mean, it's not just Revan. I mean, you get well-placed Discord arms. Yes, Revan's hitting some amazing headshots, but the team is putting a lot of pressure onto Washington. That's allowing Revan to find these off angles and have no pressure on him to allow him to find these headshots time and time again.
This replay is pretty much just a Revan headshot clip dump. We get some moments here and there.
I feel like Revan, you need a video, a highlight to highlight, you know, how good of a player you are. Just take these highlights, man. Go back, watch the stream, take this clip.
All right, we're running into some small tech issues here, so we'll sort our way through that. But my goodness gracious, what a round number 1 that we get to experience from Oklahoma. It's like you said, they came back with a vengeance, right? They realized what happened on map number 1. They realized that maybe we've been toying around with our food for a little bit too much. Washington University had that signs of life that we saw from them on Lijiang Tower, Ray, but it just wasn't able to translate from Lijiang Tower, right? They stood up to Oklahoma, maybe beating their chest a little bit too hard, and Oklahoma had the answers. It really did just feel like in the form of Revan. And then you also look at the substitutes that Washington brought in. Wales was exchanged out for ELO, but Wales started off good. Revan completely changed the narrative of Widowmaker, it felt like, on Circuit Royale. It's not over yet. Washington University still has a chance here on this map, but the problem is, Ray, they need to go all of the way, and that's not easy. We even saw Oklahoma struggle with it. It had to be done inside of overtime. So Washington University needs to at the very least meet that, but ideally surpass that.
So that was the thing I was going to say. Despite how much domination we've seen from Revan on this map, they ended up capping in overtime. So I think that speaks volumes to, despite, you know, how much of a highlight reel he was having, it still took them all of the time to get through. So that's going to speak a lot to Washington having to put together a really good attack. But it also says, like, man, there's an opportunity here because it's zeros on the clock. All you got to do is complete the map and you're both on even playing field again heading into your next attack. So I feel like both teams have an argument of why they feel like they're in a position to either win the map if you're Oklahoma or force extra rounds if you're Washington.
The real question that comes into play for Oklahoma is how Revan is going to be looking now that they're on the defense. They get more ideal positions to be able to take the fights against Washington University. We saw how much they were running away with it when time was pressed against them, when they were on the onus in different areas and different places of not being able to realistically get away with what they did. Now they get a little bit more on their side. Now they get a little bit more to work with. Washington University, hopefully Wales is going to be able to somewhat channel that same energy that Revan had for themselves.
Only time will tell, my friend Samuel, as we now load up these defenses, load up the next round as Oklahoma. No surprises here. Nothing's changing. Question for me is, where is Revan going to look to hold? Do you just hold that bridge like we saw Wales doing, or do you look to get a little more aggressive, hold kind of like the very first point in the high ground that the attackers could normally take? But it looks like they are just going to hold this bridge. So if you're Washington, I mean, we saw on the defense, Wales was able to find some quick early picks and waste a lot of time. I feel like it's going to be on the onus of Wales to try and find an opening pick and force all of these players of Oklahoma back and get yourself a lot of space.
Washington University going to get a little bit more heart progress before meeting up against their targets. Googly eyes are going to see this team through. Revan, this is diabolical. That is just not fair. The off angles that this player takes and the positions that they're able to find themselves in, unreal. It feels like every single time. Again.
I feel like that's the thing, Sam, is that first shot they got on the Whales. If I was a sniper, I would not be expecting the Widow to be taking that angle. Like, they're just finding these creative spots to snipe from, and it's throwing the team of Washington completely off.
And the problem is it's piecemeal by piecemeal. With Jaiva's elimination onto Deacon, or Bubble rather, sorry. Washington University just has to wait even longer. And now they don't even have the benefit of the payload next to them. They can't find protection or safety there.
Yeah, and with, you know, how much domination Revan is finding in these defensive holds, it's going to make finding space that much harder. Look at that, Revan already finds Azur. There goes all of your heals.
There goes all of your heals. Put them up in the air. It almost becomes a game of where is Revan? And who is Revan's next target going to be? You look away from the kill feed long enough, Revan is going to be the one dominating on top of it. They may have descended upon it once again. It's not a headshot, but who really cares? Revan already has their ultimate, right?
I don't know if you know this reference, Sam, but it really feels like here's Revan, and he keeps getting his headshots. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous. His QWQ is like, all right, I've had enough of this. I'm going on to a dive here. I'm going on Genji. I'm getting on top of this guy. It feels like that's their only solution at this point.
It has to be. Put them up in the air. Right, almost onto Azur. Counting their lucky stars that the head wasn't what was clicked off. Now we're going to have a dragon come forth, ripping it away. And QWQ's hopes of being that dive hero to make the difference is gone.
That it is, as the pauses are now going to come in. As, I mean, Oklahoma was up one in that fight. They got the Genji down of QWQ, so they were in a good position, but obviously having some problems.
Yeah, we're running into some voice chat issues right now, Ray. Seems like there is something going on. Teams need to work through it. It's now happened to both of our teams, so it's not just one side having any issues or anything like that. So at the very least, we know that's not them. That's really what matters here. What also matters is that Oklahoma feels very, very, very assured, at the very least, knocking off so much time from Washington University. In a minute and 43 seconds.
They're just feeling like cool cucumbers, Sam. They're just comfortable, and Washington has done nothing to be able to stop that comfortability. And as a team, you know, in a match like this, you cannot allow them to just be comfortable like this. It's only going to bode worse for you as the series goes on, as Oklahoma is looking to tie up the series.
Gonna see this gravitic flux being expended. Bubba doesn't even, it's just, okay. All right. Deacon had the Transcendence available to save Oklahoma, but didn't really see it as any need to. Which may just cost them there. Washington University had a lot of trouble, had a lot of issues until that one gravitic flux changed everything.
Yeah, Revan does find the pick on the QWQ, but it does not matter. The point has been capped, and if you're Washington, the size of relief can begin, but it is not over yet. As we talked about, this is where things get that much tougher. Revan is just going to have such incredible natural high ground, and he's just going to take full advantage as Bubba's head's been sniped.
They're on the stairs again. These angles that Revan takes is just disaster incarnate for Washington. They're even being forced to use a shield to try and stop Revan. And so that's not even defending them on the back foot. QWQ saw the eye in their in their mind, the shot that was coming towards them, and snipes it right back at Revan.
Yeah, and that's going to, not going to do a whole lot because everyone was still in spawn. It might buy them a little chance here to get the cart pushed a little bit, but in just a second, Revan's going to be back again and looking for your head. So you have to be extremely careful while pushing this if you're Washington.
They're still having difficulties getting back up the hill in general because Jaiva's there as well. You have a lot more of that front-loaded damage from the Hanzo. It's the amplification matrix. You heard the dink on Whales. Not enough to kill them, but now we're going to be slowed down by the usage of this gravitic flux. Bubba has the Transcendence, though, to see the team alive safely through this, as the Dragons are being used once more by Jaiva. No one to fall from it this time around. Cart barely just making it above the bend, even just up towards this high ground. Grecian Rock soars through the air, doesn't land on any of the necessary targets. There is a silver lining for Washington University, that a head hasn't been clicked yet.
Yeah, and you gotten both the DPS ultimates off of the field and no more flux as well. As you're coming up on 3 ultimates, the Transcendence can only deal with 1, but QWQ goes down.
And Revan sees it again. Oklahoma, you may be able to put them down for a second, but they are never out. Always. As easy as that, it really feels like we're just playing AIM Labs or Kovacs.
It really does, because I think I was going to say, Sam, is you're coming up on Flux, Dragons, and your Dragon Blade. So you're in this situation for Oklahoma where you only have 1 Transcendence. You just use one of those 3 ultimates, force it out, and then click another ultimate, and you should be able to just take full advantage and cap this point with where the cart is. As we're going to see the Dragons come out.
Here it is, first of the Dragons, first of the ultimates from Washington University. Here, it's right there, right here. You hear the Transcendence being used. Now it's all on the shoulders of QWQ with their Dragon Blade, but they draw it out only to be shot down from the air. Revan is eaten good tonight. They have fallen, but the damage has already been done. Washington University now needs to pick up the pieces that Oklahoma just shattered in front of them.
My jaw just dropped, Sam. I saw that coming too. Massive swaps coming in on the side of Washington. Bubba's going over to Lucio. Whales now going over to the Sojourn, and they're going to keep the Genji. But that's just an absolutely momentum-shattering play that Revan just made mid-blade.
Now they just get to casually sit back here, undeterred by anything really happening out there. Whole goal is just to keep an eye on QWQ, see them going into the back lines, and now with the Infrasight up, not gonna be caught off guard too much. It had to have just been a pixel, enough to get rid of Azure, and now Washington University, with any hopes of sustainability, has now just been ripped away from them. PG is staying aligned by the thinnest and barest of margins, and maybe with the loss of Revan, there could be some hope for Washington University. But PG is now out of here, and they're actually making this happen. Washington University is holding on. They have done it. The switches that needed to have happened are actually giving them something. But 1 minute and 30 seconds, Ray, to go the rest of this distance.
Yeah, that's going to be the tough issue, because basically it's going to take you a lot of the time just to round the final corner. So you're essentially going to have to win 2 clean fights as you're around the final corner to be able to take this. The good thing is you are coming up on a lot of ultimates, and Oklahoma used a lot in that previous fight. So the big thing they're going to have is that Transcendence. QWQ has a redemption coming online in this next fight, has the blade in his pocket once again.
Hopefully they've been tracking the ultimates of Deacon long enough to know that this Zenyatta doesn't have the Transcendence just yet. QWQ, it is a redemption arc. It is a story that this time needs to be retold in their favor. They go into the back line. They know that Deacon needs to be eliminated. 3 HP, Ray, and they still get to use the blade. You've gotten rid of Deacon, and now you've made just purchase here, Washington University a chance. They see it right there, the finish line, the golden gates of victory. Paralysis descended upon this team, segmented and disoriented. Deacon giving us a Transcendence, a just barely negligible moment here, as Washington University has met Oklahoma with time to spare.
Legitimately, Sam, I think the swap over to the Sojourn was a great call. Wales was finding rail shots time and time again, and that Lucio speed boost was actually doing a lot for Peachy, allowing them to easily get on top of and retreat if needed in that battle against Paralysis. So I think these swaps, although very unconventional, ended up working very well in their favor, and they finished with more time than Oklahoma after we thought Oklahoma just had the dominant attack.
It's going back and forth between these two teams. Washington University is not giving up, and no means is this team out just yet. Give it up to Bubba, though, for the switch onto the Lucio, and for how quickly they built up towards the sound barrier, and using it at just the right moment, like you said. This right here should have been Oklahoma. That point B, cap from Washington University, was all just fruition, and QWQ was right there. 3 HP. But their survival and their elimination of Deacon was everything they could have wanted, and then some. But now the onus is on Oklahoma to try and put the line in the sand for Washington University.
That's the thing, Sam, about that kill onto Deacon and getting out with 3 HP. If you go down there, if you're QWQ, you probably don't get that card across because the blade forced a lot out. It forced that Transcendence out early, and you probably would not have finished that. So that is huge plays as Oklahoma now gets the attack. That was the one thing, as Revan already finds a headshot. I was going to say, it took them a long time to get the first point, but already finding an opening pick does Revan.
Yes, they do. Right over the rooftops. And Jaib is taking a page from the playbook of Washington University, giving up hopes of the Hanzo, now going to give us the railgun of Sojourn. Looking around, seeing through the doorway, maybe an opportunity. They know QWQ has to be back at some point. The spawn timer is there for them, and they've set up for it. Give them a second. Maybe they may be able to rip their head off once again. It's not meant to be. Ichi falls. Washington University is giving up all of the space for Oklahoma.
Yeah, to me, that felt a little bit of a mistake if you're watching. I mean, you basically just gave them this entire point for one fight. You didn't even make them take a second fight. And now you're in a position where they're gaining on their ultimates, and now we're going to see some swaps. Wales going back over to Sojourn, QWQ going over to Genji. One has to think, I'm surprised they just didn't start on this to begin with, but I digress. They've made the swaps. Let's see if they can make something happen.
Now we're about into overtime, but Oklahoma is going so far off the back of just this alone. QWQ is going to try get into the sniper's faces. Bubba to join them too. It looked like it may have been right there. It's a trade for a trade, but you've lost Bubba. For Washington University, you've lost a lot of that speed. QWQ needs to find safety in harbor. Deacon is going to kick them away and out of here. Azure sees just the opening of the opportunities. The poke damage that Washington University is suffering, Oklahoma is more than happy to take advantage of.
Yeah, and overtime is ringing. We see the touch coming in, and Paralysis is able to stay alive. As now they're going to round this hill, and they should be able to get to the top of it, as Oklahoma didn't even use any ultimate, so they're still in a really good spot as they have 5 to use in this next fight, only going up against the 2 that Washington has.
Oklahoma not fumbling the bag that much is for sure. Washington University throwing them up into the air with the Critic Flux. Deacon didn't have the Transcendence, and so it was just as easy as that, it feels like. With the Immortality field gone, this is just a heyday for Peachy to do whatever they want, right into all of their targets. Finally, overtime ticks away for Oklahoma. But I mean, you're right there at point B, Ray. And for 1 minute and 14 seconds, that's a negligible amount of time differential. So this is going to be a big moment for Washington University.
Yeah, considering you only had a minute, that is so much distance gained for Oklahoma. Puts the pressure down on to Washington. But conversely, if you're Washington, you could say, man, if we're able to get this all the way and go up 2-0, this will be absolutely devastating for the side of Oklahoma and might be that just burst of mental destruction that you're wanting to deploy onto the side of Oklahoma.
And this time around, Ray, no misconceptions are being made from Washington. They do not want to try and fight Revan on their own turf. This is the composition that has found them the most success. This is the composition that helped get them over the finish line and at a better finish line than Oklahoma did. But now this composition needs to exceed what was already an impossible task.
Yeah, if we remember correctly, Sam, it took Washington the entire 4 minutes to be able to get that across point A, and not until they swapped QWQ over to the Genji did they finally make something happen. So starting out this right out of the gate is what I like to see. Just go with what's been working and what has made things happen in this series. They will have to be careful of Revan. We know the angles he likes to take. So at this point, they should know this by now and should be very careful and wary.
And you see how much they're trying to deny Revan. It was almost there on the Bubba, a little bit too sneaky. And this time around, look at how aggressive Washington wants to be. Get right in their faces and push Oklahoma back so they can get the cart even further along.
Yeah, this is how you have to be if you're playing this Lucio Genji. Use your speed and your aggression to your advantage and make things happen. Do not allow these hit scans to have all the space.
It is so important figuring out where Revan is. This has been the crux of everything so far, it feels like. Peachy holding on for dear life, and it's just not going to be good enough. Paralysis walks onto them. The damage is being done in full. Less than 20 seconds to go. Washington University in St. Louis needs to regroup now or never.
Yeah, as you got to completely back up here. You're going to be able to take one more fight. And this is looking rough as Revan is just able to take all the angles he wants. And look at the low players up there.
Bubba tried to get over to save Azure, but Washington University in St. Louis doesn't even get to see the cart. Oklahoma taking map number 2. What a map number 2 it was. Still, at the end of the day, we have a 1-1 series on our hands, Ray.
As both of these teams have had their pop-off moments and have been excellent, but Oklahoma takes the battle of the hit scans on map number 2, which is going to beg the question going forward throughout this series, Sam. Map choice might play a bigger deal than we initially thought coming into this series.
It really does. It felt like Oklahoma knew exactly what they wanted to do on Circuit Royale. We don't typically get to see this map on Escort. It's usually something else, usually something that favors more of the composition, especially with what we saw out of Oklahoma that favored Orisa on Lijiang the entire way through. This time around, this go around, they really wanted Revan to have their pop-off moments, and we got a lot of that from them, which I think is even also impressive to say for Washington University, that they were trying their hardest to meet Oklahoma, and it was looking good, it was looking clean, but Oklahoma just got so much cart progress in their third round of or the second round of attack that there was just really nothing that Washington University could do.
Yeah, but now you're in this situation, tied 1-1. Momentum has shifted back in your favor if you're Oklahoma, so you got to be feeling good. However, this has been a tightly contested series. I mentioned how after map number 1, I needed a breather. So we're going to do exactly that. Don't go anywhere. Grab a snack, grab a drink, because this series is heating up, and we'll be right back after this break.
It is a semi-finals for the ages, it feels like right now here in the Central Champions Playoffs division between Oklahoma University and Washington University in St. Louis. A 1-1 series right now. Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Sam Talks with 2 Tryhard Ray. And Ray, like I said, what this series is delivering on all fronts.
Couldn't agree with you more. It's just been everything we could ask for in a semifinals matchup between the number 2 and number 3 seeds. As we progress through this series, we now move to map number 3, which is Flashpoint. And no surprises here. We are going to go to the streets of India. It is Saravasa.
And of course, this is going to be the map choice of Washington University in St. Louis. Not much to choose from, of course, when it comes to Flashpoint, but there is a lot that they can choose from when it comes to their roster, which we are having substitutions once more. Elo and Bradley are both back in. And it makes sense, right? We saw how well they did on Lijiang Tower, and Saravasa kind of fits that bill, right? Right? You're looking for these different kind of compositions, these sort of more brawlier style compositions, and ELO and Bradley did a phenomenal job at them. Bradley's Lucio finding so much value for Washington University, and same for ELO when we saw them playing on the Sojourn.
Yeah, this is likely where we see them go back to their roots. We'll see Bradley go back to Lucio, Elo go over to the Sojourn. We're likely to see, most likely, Orisa mirrors on a map all 4, as we see both teams highlighting exactly that. QWQ obviously will just turn into Tracer after teleporting the team out, and that Mercy more than definitely is going to become a Kiriko. So we're in a situation where, again, I think just back to Lijiang Tower and how close that map was, where it was like 99-99 on so many of those points. I think this is what we can expect for both of these teams in this mirror.
It's a 1-1 series right now. Whichever team takes the W on this map is going to pull ahead and bring themselves onto the series point in this first of 3 semifinals and go on into the grand finals. Ooh, right there. I was playing with a little bit of fire from QWQ, but they recall in time to save themselves from the railgun shot, and just in general being that nuisance. Gonna form all over the place, but Jaiva sees it, not gonna miss this time. But QWQ out of here, Washington University, even though they're on the point, not gonna be able to get too much out of it. ELO up in the air, or Paralysis headshots them away. Oklahoma, right back into it.
You still away 15% if you're Washington. You're going to be able to get your players back and re-engage, but Oklahoma can now look to press forward. As a great spear coming out from Paralysis, as now they're just going to look to retreat, play the point, and they're able to take these positions, find out where Washington wants to attack from, and get ready and meet them there.
Put it up on the high ground. Jaiva sees everything from up there, trying to call or echo back to their plays on the echo itself. And they're going to have such a difficult time. Look at this, both players just holding up onto that high ground and really causing a nuisance here for Washington University to even attempt to get onto the site. As Revan gets another pick off onto QWQ. Azure desperately wanting to keep the team going, and Protection Suzu expended. Massive cooldown in favor of Oklahoma that they've drawn out. Revan has been eliminated though, and now things are looking like much more on equal footing. Oklahoma is now at that 80% marker.
That's a trade for a trade. You have an opportunity here if you're Washington to be able to push in. Continuing Rush can be deployed, and they're going to do exactly that.
Yeah, get right into them. But Azure and Deacon both had the same ideas. Jaiva, who's taking more advantage out of this. Oklahoma, in general, taking more out of this. Bradley expends the sound barrier, but really to keep the final 3 remaining players alive. It's nowhere near enough to be able to punch through Oklahoma. Nowhere near enough to be able to stop them. And even worse, Peachy getting staggered.
And Oklahoma absolutely dominating the first point. I think the big reason has been Revan dominating the Tracer duel against QWQ. Feels like every fight we get into, QWQ is the first pick, whether it's by Revan or we even saw at one point it was Jaiva. If you're QWQ, you got to find a way to not be the first one picked, and you got to be able to apply pressure on these supports. As now we move over to Gardens, and Oklahoma already has a defensive position set up on this point.
It feels like they're just going to be able to run away with it. Finally, Washington University is going to be able to get over here. QWQ hitting the recall already. And now Revan's Pulse Bomb is going to send all kinds of shockwaves throughout Washington University. PG had no chance of being able to survive this onslaught of damage. Now Washington just has to get off here and let Oklahoma do what they do best, taking up those points.
And now you're in a position, if you're watching, you're going to have a slight ult advantage. So this is your chance to really, make something happen. As happy as, use the sound barrier early. This is definitely looking good for Washington. That's another ultimate committed.
That would have been like a fat finger, right? There, just maybe a slip there, accidentally popped off the sound barrier. Like, they were under no pressure, it felt like. Now we're going to see the dueling overclocks once more. Jaiva hiding around the corner, coming and dipping their head in and out. A lot of damage dealt onto Peachy, but ELO is not going to find much of the same success as their counterpart. We're looking towards Jaiva trying to get away from Peachy. They're sailed up, they're back up to full, and they are having the time of their lives with no one really standing up against them. Peachy looking towards all possible angles. The Terror Surge has come in, drawing them in. No one is going to fall from that. Revan gets off another immaculate Pulse Bomb stick from ELO. Peachy's elimination again. Washington University is out of here.
As you do give up 40% if you're Oklahoma, but you did get Washington to commit several ultimates. So I feel like in exchange for the 40% and final fight territory, you will take that every day to Sunday, as they're only going to have the sound barrier coming into this last fight on Gardens, if they even can get there in time, Sam.
They're going to be cutting it close. At Razor's Edge, they need to get there now or surrender it over to them. QWQ may be able to keep the dream alive here for Washington University, but the Foxes are maybe able to guide Oklahoma into a nightmare for Washington University. Get on top of it, get rid of ELO. Bradley gets it off just in the nick of time. A sound barrier to keep them alive, but Paralysis sees this as an opportunity to Terror Surge whatever overhealing away that they had. Jaiva eliminates the mirror matchup. Happy gives the speed boost, gives the healing back over to their team, keeps them alive, and gives them point number 2. Now, map point.
As Oklahoma has started to heat up, they are absolutely dominating this map so far, and they're able to bank 3 ultimates heading into Palace, and the RNG gods have blessed them, Sam, because you get Palace right next to Gardens. You're able to quickly set up on the point, and Washington's going to be facing you in a stronghold position. So things are just continuing to snowball in the ways of Oklahoma.
Javelin Spear from the gods. Revan does it again. You put them on Widowmaker, they're sniping. You put them on Tracer, they're sniping with Pulse Bombs. Every single time this player throws one, it is going to get value in one way, shape, or another.
It's just a beauty to see Revan absolutely dominating this series. Azure does have the Kitsune Rush available to commit into this fight. Suzu already been used. They might need to use this in order to get this point back.
It's already not looking good for Peachy. A stick this time around from QWQ does enough damage to Paralysis to get rid of them here. Washington University, the Foxes have been expended and a Pulse Bomb. But at the very least, they get the points.
My ultimate is ready.
I think you'll take that. I mean, Oklahoma didn't commit any ult, so for Oklahoma standard, that's pretty good. You didn't use any. You got Washington to use 2. So now you get to come back. You're coming up on a bunch of your own, and you should be able to flip this pretty well, especially since Bradley doesn't have the sound barrier on anytime soon. So you can use this Jaiva overclock to really open things up before that comes online.
Window of opportunity. Disruptor shot's gonna slow them down only for a moment. You're hearing it in now. Jaiva is the one that rings more truth than ELO. Seeing it over. Who dares to walk onto this point? Who dares stand up against us? Oklahoma, just as quickly as they lost this point, have already gotten it back, Ray. And all it took, 2 ultimates.
Yeah, 2 for 1, because you also got ELO to use the overclock of their own, so you put yourself in such a good position if you're Oklahoma. Final fight for Washington to keep their Saravasa hopes alive. Bradley's sound barrier should provide a lot of defense for them in this next fight.
All right. First expansion of the Fox is Deacon. Bradley staying safe. Not suffering an Ajax here, but guess who hasn't eaten by the javelin spin? Peachy needs to Terra Surge. Whatever you have healing-wise, pump it into them. Jaiva is going to throw the railgun headshot into the face of Washington University. There is not much left in the tank for this team. There is not much left in the health department. Paralysis swarming over them all. Oklahoma planting their flag. Suravasa is theirs, and so is Series Point.
One has to think, Sam, was that control map. You know, sometimes they say you just throw control out of the window. Sometimes just some crazy weird stuff happens on that map type. Teams still getting warmed up, because ever since then, it's all been coming up Oklahoma. Yes, Circuit Royale was close, but at the same time, to me, it always felt like Oklahoma was in control of that, regardless of how those attacks went. I know Washington ended up finishing with more time, but I think you'll agree it still felt like Oklahoma was doing better. I don't know. Did they come to Suravasa and absolutely dominate?
They did. This felt like a completely different story, where it felt close, but like you said, it still felt like Oklahoma was the favorite team. But this was by far and away them the entire way through. There was no doubts in our minds. And even in the moments where they lost the point, it almost felt tactical. Just give it up, force out the ultimates, force them to expend something and then we just come back with a fury and a vengeance. And this is the team that we can understand how they played through the regular season, how they went 3-0 in the first round of the playoffs and the quarterfinals, and now seeing them here in the semifinals. This is a team that is very, very determined, and one that is very hungry to get into the grand finals. And not only that, but so hungry to win it all.
Yeah, and now they find themselves on match point, up 2-1 in the series. Next map type will be push, as they are in their little band phase trying to figure out what map they are going to pick. There is only 3 of them to pick, as we are not in season 11 yet. We will get Runa Sapa, the new push map, which I'm excited for. But for Washington, the question is, you were up 1-0 in this series, and now you're in this situation where you've dropped the last 2, and you are on a possibility where if you drop this last map, your season is over. You are headed home. How are they going to respond coming into the push map? The one thing is, there is 3, so only 1 can be banned by Oklahoma, so you at least get a choice between 2 maps.
Yeah, so it's Esperanza, New Queen Street, or Coliseo. Just based off of what we've been getting out of both of these teams, right? With the map that you're thinking of, we've been seeing a lot of Arisa. We've been seeing a lot of sort of this
Oklahoma
brawly
banned
nature.
New Queen Street, so
We're not going there. So it's either Coliseo or Esperanza. I'm feeling like we're going to be leaning towards Esperanza, Ray. It just feels like that standard push map that a lot of the teams feel comfortable on. It's also a map that works really well for the Arisa style kind of compositions that we've been getting. And what do you know, Ray? If maybe I should be going into the fortune telling business, who knows? Because indeed, so our potential final battleground of the night is going to be happening on Esperanza. And I say potential because if Washington University can close it out here, we go on to our 5th final map of hybrid, unless we get a tie, then we go into control. But Esperanza, if Oklahoma can close it out here, it's all done and dusted. We are going to be seeing our first competitor in the grand finals.
folks, I know you can't see me, but I was rolling my eyes as he's trying to say he's a fortune teller. Esperanza is the map we almost always go to when it comes to push. Like, come on, man. Especially when New Queen Street was off the table. Nobody likes Coliseo.
I gotta take that. Yeah, that's why they're reworking it, right? Oh my gosh.
They're removing the glass.
Yeah, they're breaking the glass walls. So
time.
But hey, Washington University and St. Louis, right? This is it for them. Their last chance, their last opportunity to keep their heads above the water in the semifinals. So close to drowning. And Oklahoma University sailing right on by the past two maps.
Which the thing is, on a map like Esperanza, I mean, I kind of expect to see more of the same when it comes to this Arisa composition. I mean, maybe maybe we see Washington pull out the Ramatra like we saw on Lijiang Tower, but it still feels hard to believe when this Orisa is just so dominant right now. I mean, unless you really feel like you can't win that Orisa v Orisa battle, then you find some sort of other matchup. Maybe we see Mauga come out. I don't know. It's just tough. It's especially after that domination we just saw in Saravasa. I'm not sure what Washington's going to look to pull out here on Esperanza.
Whatever it is, it's going to have to be now or never. It's going to have to be something explosive, and it's going to have to be something decisive, because nothing less is going to save the day here for this team. You need to find the confidence that they had in Lijiang Tower. They need to find whatever secret formula to success that they had. They need to bring it back out once again. Otherwise, this is the end of the road for them. Oklahoma University gets to be in those grand finals.
5, 4.
As we are going to see mirror matchups once again, which to me is going to put the onus on Washington to try and flip the script. But Oklahoma, you got to favor them in this mirror matchup. We saw Elo really pop off previously on circuit on the Sojourn. We saw him have some good moments on Lijiang Tower as well. So kind of looking toward him to make something happen on the Sojourn.
Washington University are going to be the first ones to get towards the bot. Clean headshot from Elo deals a lot of damage onto the team that Oklahoma has to kind of try and skirt and respect. QWQ being much more conservative in the ways that they're going about poking and prodding at the back line of Oklahoma. One of the first ones to perish a lot of the times in these team fights, and that created so much issues for Washington University that they cannot let happen again. Close to getting rid of the elimination on the Happy, but neither one of these teams really gained the leg up on each other just yet. The favor looks like it's starting to lean towards Oklahoma with how much ground they've been able to conquer.
Yeah, Revan is putting so much pressure onto Peachy. They are not able to keep up in the heals department. Suzu's already been used as it's getting close.
Already, Azure, right as they get it back up, they're being descended upon. Get out of there. With whatever you have, Revan was focused and targeted. The elimination onto Azure, Oklahoma, it's begin pushing the bot even further. Whatever minuscule amount that they had, looking to turn minuscule into massive.
Yeah, Revan just feels like a dog with a bone on this Tracer, just continuing to hunt and prod and chase down these targets. You cannot escape when Revan has his locks on you. And he is just showing that time and time again. They're already getting ready to round the final corner and get these first point spawns already unlocked.
Washington University, right there. Meter to go. The stick from Revan. Protection Suzu to keep them alive. Now we're seeing both of the Foxes down on the field, intersecting and crossing the lines against each other. The high ground is given over to Washington University, and Bradley popping off the sound barrier to keep their tank alive. Peachy takes so much damage in the ways that they're still alive. They hold off and they hold on here, actually prevent the forward spawns from being activated. Something that they desperately needed, and something that they can be very happy that they prevented from happening.
Yeah, big team fight win coming in from Washington. However, it did cost them 3 of their ultimates. And again, Oklahoma keeping themselves nice and green in the ult exchange battle. They only used 2 in that fight. So yes, you're going to start gaining some distance if you're Washington, but Oklahoma is going to be back fast, and they're going to have 1 more ultimate to be able to commit to this fight if they need to. But we've seen in situations where Oklahoma comes to these fights. I look back to Saravasa, where they come through, use 1 or 2 ultimates, and bingo bango, the fight's over and they've won it.
Now this might be an interesting wrinkle, Ray. We've had a disconnect.
Yeah, that could be one of the ultimates offline. Oklahoma, that was one of their players who had an ultimate online.
That was Happy. That was the Lucio with a sound barrier. This unfortunate circumstance, that has to hurt, knowing that just happened. Washington University, it's something that you don't want to think of very often, but now that's going to be at the back of your mind, especially for Oklahoma. How are they going to deal with this? The difference in that they're going to be approaching this upcoming team fight.
Yeah, you're in a situation now where basically it's just Overclock and Terra Surges versus each other. So really, I mean, Jaiva can just get the better end of the overclock because Washington used their sound barrier in that fight anyway. So you pretty much just put yourself on even ground. You just don't have that extra ult to commit anymore like you thought you would.
Oh, and they're going to get right in their faces. Protection Suzu pop from Deacon, push them away. Elo seeing around this overclock, not getting any value. Same a little bit for Jaiva, but they're up in the air. And now they get to go right back into it with the Terror Surge. Peachy tried to use one of their own, but here's the problem with that, Ray. No one from their team was alive.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like you should have just held on to that Terror Surge for the next fight. And now you're in a situation where you're probably going to get these forward spawns unlocked if you're Oklahoma. So now, I mean, going forward, we talk about it on these push maps for Washington to get any kind of distance going. Now they're going to have to win 2 team fights in a row as butt scratch mode is now engaged. So they're not going to get much distance outside of that, while Washington should be able to take a fight here on the corner.
Oh, you've eliminated Revan, but an exchange in blood for QWQ. There's Washington University still somewhat favored right now, being now in their own home turf. C's happy up in the air. Bradley, smelling the blood in the water, has to get rid of them. And just holding on by a thread of health. Elo is alive. So are the hopes and dreams of Washington University. Oklahoma does have those forward spawns. Oklahoma can take advantage of them.
And be able to win that with 0 ult commit from Washington's really good, because as we talked about with the close spawns, they're going to have to take another team fight here. So now they have the ults to be able to combat Oklahoma in this next fight. So if they play their cards right, Sam, in this next fight, they could get themselves these forward spawns based on where the card is right now, or the bot is right now.
Continues to move forward for Washington University. The Foxes, which team is going to be guided by them better? Elo, right there through the thread in the needle, has gotten rid of Revan. QWQ continuing to push the bot forward and getting much needed, valuable bot cart progress. Pull them around, put them down on the ground. Washington University in command and control the high ground once more. They need to make sure to keep an eye on this bot and not let it go any further away. Forward spawns are so close with this team, but Revan, as always, needs and wants to be that difference maker for Oklahoma, and what a difference maker they are.
And a big javelin coming from Paralysis to onto Elo of the Sojourn. However, I think Washington just played that smart. Knew Oklahoma committed both their Pulse Bomb and their Terror Surge in this fight. Didn't commit anything else. So now they get to re-engage with 4 ultimates versus the 2 that Oklahoma have. We've been preaching Oklahoma and how well they've been able to do in staying in the green in their ult economy. Now they find themselves in a massive disadvantage in this next fight.
QWQ in that forward scout. Gather the information. Elo with the Javelin Spear, overclocked away. You've seen Happy using the sound barrier, and now out comes the QWQ Pulse Bomb. Sticks onto Paralysis, but they get away, and the healing is so precise that whatever damage was done has immediately been undone. Washington University trying to get the cart progress back under their control. Oklahoma more than ready to give up some of this ground to fight in a much more ideal position. With Deacon throwing out the Foxes just as for added effect. PG is going to give us a Terror Surge. This Terror Surge is going to come up with zilch almost, it feels like. Jaiva is chomping down on Washington University, chewing right through every single last one of them.
Listen, Jaiva is jiving right now, man. They're just having a fantastic game. You know, finding these headshots on the Sojourn time and time again. And they even had a great game on Circuit Royale, despite, you know, Revan kind of taking over. They were also great supporting DPS on that map. As Oklahoma also Pulse Bomb for Revan. He's just been farming these as another one online. Absolutely insane on the Tracer.
You better be watching out, seeing where that's going to be going. This time around didn't get the effect that it was looking for, and it even cost them their own life to make this happen. But while all of this has been going on, Oklahoma continues to close the distance on what could be the finish line here against Washington University in St. Louis. This team just hasn't been able to find any breaks against the onslaught that is Oklahoma.
Yeah, you have a chance here if you're watching it. You're gonna have the Kitsune Rush. Deacon's not even close to it, and there's no sound here online for Happy, so you could get a really good advantage here if you play this Kitsune Rush right.
They're gonna pull them away. Battle of the bridges once more. Azura's gonna give us the Kitsune Rush. Oklahoma's gonna back away, rotate towards the clock tower, back under another one of the bridge of their own, still in possession of the forward spawn. Bradley, though, finds a pickoff onto Revan. Now it's time to take up this high ground position once more. Oklahoma just gonna let them have it. Just give it up for a second. Washington University in St. Louis gonna be able to work towards some forward spawns of their own, but Oklahoma needs back up against them once again.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Washington's playing this as well as they could. Oklahoma, however, I mean, this is going to be a chaotic fight. So we got 8 ultimates online across the board for both of these teams. So, again, who's going to get aggressive and find the early quick picks?
Oh, what a beautiful spear. That protection, Suzu, has kept Happy alive. This team is so good at peeling for each other. When disaster was about to happen, Oklahoma averts it time and time again. And now with just a minute left to go and a whole bevy of ultimates on their side, they are ready to close this out.
Yeah, both teams have the ability and the opportunities with all the ults online for both teams. No one committed anything into that fight. However, Oklahoma has re-unlocked the forward spawns for them, so that's only going to make this comeback for Washington that much harder.
And Peachy's already in the thick of it. Oh my goodness, Jaiva is toppling them all. Oklahoma toppling them all, one by one by one.
And Sam, that was in exchange for 3 of Washington ults for 2 of Oklahoma's. They have found their rhythm again in the ult economy. Oklahoma looking to close things out right here and right now and try to win the series and punch their ticket to the grand finals.
They have gone the distance. Oklahoma, the finish line right in front of them, and the Deacon Kitsune Rush may be able to bring them there. Azure has one of their own, but with QWQ out of here, they do get the advantage of the spawns being where they are, and Bradley is not going to let this fall away. We have now been brought into overtime, but here is the issue, Ray. Oklahoma can just take all the time in the world that they want. There is nothing less than perfection from Washington that they need to accomplish.
And you're going to have the forward spawns. You're going to be able to take another fight. You are looking to have to win like 4, 5 fights if you're Washington. And you have, I mean, maybe you get this sound barrier and overclock online, but Revan, we talked about how clutch he's been in this series, has a pulse bomb, and can absolutely end the series right here and now with another big pulse bomb.
Bot is about to get to the forward spawn, but Oklahoma's already there, using the forward spawns of their own. Keep an eye out for Revan. Keep an eye out for that pulse bomb. They're gonna go into it. May not even need it. Paralysis is landing javelins, but they're gonna do it anyways. The tank blown up to Kingdom Come, and with that, the dreams of Washington University in St. Louis. Oklahoma are your winners here in Esperanza. 3-1 in this series, and are now gonna go into the grand finals to take on the winner of Briarcliff University or Coe College. But what a series this has been, Ray.
Yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous. Both teams, they fought so hard, but Oklahoma came through in the clutch. I questioned after dropping that first map how they would do facing adversity. Well, they ran off 3 maps in a row and they punched their tickets to the grand finals. So I'd say Oklahoma has checked that box.
The silver lining for Washington University is that you took 1 map off of Oklahoma, so you get to you get to walk away with that, and you get to be pretty excited for yourself.
All season they've dropped.
Exactly. You took off the 3rd map of Washington, right? So when we look at the season that this team has just had for Washington University in St. Louis, you get to be at least knowing that they made it to the semifinals. They took on Goliath of Oklahoma. They didn't buckle and falter. They gave us one heck of an entertaining series to go along with it. But at the end of the day, this is Oklahoma. This is a team whose record speaks for themselves.
Oh yeah, I'd say all things considered, Washington University and St. Louis, heads held high. You gave Oklahoma a battle today. We talked about how dominant they've been, how up and coming this school is, and there's a reason why they're the number 1 seed and have only dropped 2 maps all season long, and you gave them a dog fight. Took a map off them. You got to be proud. And no, you made the semifinals. Overall, very successful season.
Phenomenal showing, and this is absolutely a team that you're going to want to keep an eye out for in future upcoming seasons, especially as this roster continues to mature, continues to work together, continues to iron through the kinks and through whatever decisions, snap decisions that they're going to be making. But you see the whole history, the map selection, a map 1 that went to Washington University, Oklahoma, a clean run through after that. A reminder, I think, to themselves as well, Ray, what they're capable of. Circuit Royale almost came down to the wire. Very, very close. But now you see here with the bracket and with the standings of how things are looking, Oklahoma sitting very pretty in the grand finals.
Yeah, Coe College is the one game that was very close for Oklahoma. They lost to them 3-2. And Briarcliff is the number 1 seed coming out of Washington University of St. Louis's division, which they have been very dominant as well. So I believe they play tomorrow to figure out who's going to play Oklahoma in the grand finals next week. So very exciting stuff coming out of this playoff bracket.
Really is. This is a insane series that we got. This is the champion Central Division has been nothing short of spectacular, Ray. And this once again leads into what the heck are the grand finals themselves going to be looking like?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be high octane Overwatch. Very close, very just dog fights left and right, but I can't wait to see how that's going to unfold. Can't wait to see what Oklahoma is going to bring to that grand finals. But with that, that is going to pretty much wrap up everything for us here at NECC today. Shout outs to Billy and Boskunk from that first series. Y'all did fantastic. Shout outs to him and Carol behind the scenes. We could not do what we do without you guys. And shout outs to all of you in chat. You guys have been lively. I've been checking it out. You guys have been very active, and we do this stuff for you guys. We like to entertain. We like to be the voices for the people, for you guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And with that, we will see you next week at another NEC broadcast. Later.